Race day live on supercrosslive.com. We are here in Angel Stadium for round 3 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. I'm your host, Andy Bowyer, and beside me, as always, is Supercross legend Jim Holley and our new pit reporter, Miss Mayra Tinajero. Welcome to the show, folks.
Hey, guys. So good to be back in Anaheim.
Round 3. It's been a pretty big week for me. Had a new arrival.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
A new baby.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was cool. Miss Scarlett came into the world on Tuesday at 1:44, and just a miracle, a blessing. And, one of the coolest things in the world. You know, it is the coolest thing in the world. So.
There's a photo of you and the new baby.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Grateful to be here. Want to say hi to Mango and Scarlett and Stella at home. But round 3, guys, it's time to do it again.
You know, I'm kind of hoping, we've seen 2 different winners. I'm hoping, we can have a 3rd different winner here. It'd be great for this series. And, on that 250 side of things, Mayra on that West Coast, I got to see if somebody can stop Cooper Webb, because he is just on a roll right now.
Man, between the 3 guys on the podium last week, there's so much to talk about. But, aside from those 3 guys, I think we really got to stop and talk about Colt Nichols.
Yeah.
This guy's sitting in 6th in the points.
Right.
He had a 7th place finish at the first round, 5th place last week. So I think we're going to see some really great stuff from him. Not necessarily sure that he's going to take a podium, but
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a few more rounds. He's warming up, and but I definitely think we'll see him in the top 5 some more.
Well, and the other thing about that is I talked to Christina Denny earlier today, and they lost Alex Martin. He jumped ship, went over, more money and everything, and they were really looking for a guy to fill in. And if you look at the points, he's ahead of Alex Martin. So Christina Denny's beaming like, hey, I think we made the right decision there. But, getting back to Cooper Webb, I mean, he's already got 2 in a row. If you go back to last year, he strung together 4. So he's got 6 in a row technically right now. I mean, when is this train, it just keeps moving.
It does keep moving, and moving in a big way. He isn't just getting the wins. He's coming through the pack. He hasn't gotten great starts, but, he's proved that he's the dominant racer so far through 2 rounds. My personal opinion, I think he's going to continue to roll. But, Jesse Nelson's out, arguably his stiffest competition. But look for Joey Savatgy to pick it up. Zach Osborne was there almost all the way to the end of the race last weekend. Unfortunately, Mayra had a little mistake at the end.
Unfortunately, I'm sure he's totally kicking himself. But he's going to come back big, I feel like. That definitely has to motivate him, crashing out right at the end of the race, out of 2nd place. So, I really expect him to come in this week and really put a fire under himself and, go out there and really, try to challenge Cooper, better than he did last week.
Right. And speaking of a fire, let's talk about a little bit of Jason Anderson and Cole Seeley. What's going on there?
Just a little bit. I mean, well, it was an infraction on the red cross flag. It's the white flag with the red cross, and unfortunately, he did it again. I mean, he did it a couple years ago that almost cost him that West Coast Championship.
Vu going on here.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you look at that and you just wonder, like, man, it's a safety thing. You see that, you got to roll things. You can't single, double in, or double in, single out. You're just going to have to roll all 3. But,
little bit of contact in the main event between the 2 as well.
Oh, I mean, yeah, there's always contact between those 2 guys. And, and I kind of thought that maybe that's what it was when I saw Cole talking to one of the AMA officials, but it wasn't that. It was that he gained so much time on Cole and put more distance on Eli Tomac. But, unfortunately, he wasn't up on the podium. He gets docked 2 positions. And I don't know, we might have it. I'll have to look for it later. But we have a rule book, and it actually says what the infraction is and what it is. And it's 2 positions, so he got 5th last weekend. Still 2nd in the points, and Dungey's leading it. Now Dungey's got that red background. But
well, it's 2 positions. Plus, if he had made a pass, he would have been docked another one.
Right, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about the guy that's at the front with the red plate now. Ryan Dungey. He's had 18 consecutive podiums. He was the fastest qualifier last weekend, and just kind of had his way with the main event. Chad Reed was right there, but how does Ryan Dungey look, Mayra?
I'm a big Dungey fan. I go for him all the time. He's so consistent. And, last year, as soon as he scooped up that red plate, he was not letting anyone else in there for it, So I think that's definitely something that he's trying to make it 2 years in a row to do. He's holding on tight.
Right. Jim Holley, you mentioned another rider.
Well, I wanted to touch on Dungey. I mean, I think we can go ahead and just pencil him in if you're one of the RM Fantasy SX players. I mean, you can pencil him in for another podium. Yeah, I mean, he's going to have 19 here. Whether or not he wins 2nd or 3rd, but, I mean, this is a start that we have not seen Ryan Dungey start like this before in no time in his career. I mean, he comes out here at the opener, gets a 2nd, gets that win, like you said, Mayra, And I think he's just on a roll, and it's a different Ryan Dungey that we've seen in the past.
Exactly. And talking about the podium, let's talk about a guy that hasn't been on the podium through 2 rounds, but he's been 4th both time. Eli Tomac. Is round 3 time for the 3 to shine?
Maybe not yet. I mean, I think I'm okay. If you're his dad, John, you're telling him, hey, look, this is a 17-round series here. Take your time, a couple fourths. You've just been off of it. But, you got to remember that the shoulder surgeries that he had were pretty gnarly. So he's coming back from that. He's maybe not 100% with the bike yet. So they're just saying, hey, ease into this series. Let's not throw it away.
Right.
And I think he's doing a fabulous job. A couple fourths. I mean, if you're Monster Energy Kawasaki, you got to be happy. Hey, my guy's right there. He's still in striking distance. But, as we get longer into this series, when we hit like Atlanta or Daytona or after that, Toronto, you're going to have to start getting some podiums and you're going to have to start getting some wins. But maybe tonight could be a point where he gets a podium.
Absolutely. There's so much to talk about in both classes. But at the top of the show, you saw the picture of my new baby Scarlett. Use the hashtag babies on bikes throughout the show. Use hashtag Supercross on Fox, Supercross Live. And send us some photos. We want to see the baby photos, guys.
Well, you know what, Andy? We're so happy to hear about Scarlett.
Thanks.
And, the Race Day Live team. We have a little surprise to welcome the new family member to the team.
Look at that.
Oh, man. That's awesome. You guys are going to make me.
Congratulations.
It'll fit. I was trying to get a tear out of you. I told our
It's
producer,
coming pretty
Teresa, I
close.
said, man, you're a proud dad, but she's part of Race Day Live now,
Well, I know that Mandy's
that's cool.
watching at home, so I'm bringing something back for the baby. And thank you guys so much. That's so sweet.
Yeah, so everyone out there has to, get on the baby board and, hashtag babies on bikes.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. It's just, we think we see it all, but then when you see, your daughter get born, it's totally different, and it's the most amazing thing. But I'll tell you something else that's amazing is this track. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Andy Bowyer, Jim Holley, and Mayra Tinajero with Race Day Live, presented by Amsoil. This is this week's track segment for round 3. Now, one thing that's really unique about this track this weekend, guys, is it's a right-handed start, and that creates a little bit of difficulty for the riders, Mayra.
Right. So, Jim, I'm not a professional like these guys, but I do know that whenever I'm riding, my brake is on the right side. What are these guys going to need to do to get through this first right-handed turn?
That's a great question, Mayra. I mean, this presents a big problem when you go to run it down into that first turn, because at one point you're braking, and then once you take your foot off to make that turn, that's it. No more brake. Maybe some of the guys might be able to scrub a little bit off with their front brake if they get in too hot, but then I've seen guys grab too much front brake and lose the front end. So it's going to be interesting getting into this. I like what they do. Once a year or twice a year, we always see a right-handed start. And, all these guys, they just say, you know what, we all have to deal with it, but it is definitely going to be a little bit intense getting into this first turn. But the thing about that Andy and I were talking about is the guy on the far right-hand side of that starting gate. You can see they've kind of altered the backside of the berm here, and normally it's at a 45-degree angle, but they had to cut it off of there because that guy's getting pinched off. So he doesn't get a good jump. He's in a whole lot of trouble because the other guys to the left of him, they're making this right-hand turn. They're going to drive it in. But the other thing that, Andy, you brought a good point is right after this, there's 2 step-on, step-offs, and you got 20 guys in the main event in here trying to deal with that step-on and step-off.
Right. As the championship progresses, the tracks typically get more difficult. This is the most difficult track of the championship so far. In addition to the right-handed start, this track also runs clockwise, which means it's mostly right-handed corners. Just like the first corner, the rest of these corners are more difficult for the racers, going to create some more passing opportunities in the corners, Mayra.
Right. So we only have 3 lefties on this track. So, it's going to be a challenge out there. Especially with this first one, guys possibly getting squeezed out. So we'll see what they do.
Well, and the other thing, too, Mayra, is that 2 sets of whoops we're going to see here at Anaheim for the 3rd round of the Supercross series here, and that always presents a big... I know that a lot of people last week when Andy and we did the track walk on yourself, and we saw those whoops, well, yeah, they might be easy for these guys out here. All these guys are the top professionals in the world. They can get across them. But for me and you and Andy and everything, those were big whoops, and they're still big whoops here.
Well, you know what? Some guys might have thought that it's easy for the guys out here tonight or, at the race, but some of them were still struggling last week, and I think they're going to struggle this week too. It happens.
Well, one of the guys we saw struggling, Daniel Baker on that Suzuki team there, he broke his leg in the whoops. Yeah, so they brought in a new guy, Mayra, and you got a little bit of insight. We were in the pits earlier. Who did they bring in to fill in for him?
They did bring in a new guy, and it's an Aussie. His name is Luke Clout, so I'm really looking forward to him. I'm going to try to, catch him later on and maybe talk about him and coming over to America for, to fill in for Daniel Baker.
Well, it's round 3. We got an exciting track. We got right-handed corners. We got big rhythms, 2 sets of whoops. It's going to be good. And Jim, it's a pretty amazing track. I think it's the toughest one we've seen so far, the championship. 2 sets of whoops, lots of right-handed corners, and more importantly, a right-handed corner off of the start. What problems is that going to create?
Well, some of the things when you get in there and you get in there and you run it in and you're doing all your braking, and then once you put your foot down, you make the turn, you realize, oh man, I ran it in a little deep. I got to try to scrub off a little bit of speed, and that's going to be hard to do because you're already making that turn. Maybe use the front brake a little bit.
Right.
Don't give too much front brake because then you could wash that front end out. So that's one of them. I think that the other thing is the guys on the outside on the left, they can rail that corner and keep that momentum. So that'll be key when they run it down the third base side.
Right.
On that timing section, step on, step off. We saw earlier in that free practice some of the guys able to downside that first step on and carry that momentum. Trey Kennard, he looked really good in that section. So he nailed it down right away. He doesn't have, when he comes out here for the first qualifying time session, he's got that section down. He'll just pull the trigger right away and do it.
Right. It's going to create some highlights, but for now, we had some highlights from last weekend. It was an amazing, amazing night in Petco Park. Let's go back and revisit that.
Second round of the 250 Supercross West Championship was in Petco Park in San Diego, California, and off they went, headed towards the first turn.
Across the stripe, it would be Jordan Smith on the Geico Honda with the whole shot.
Pat giving chase behind him, and Cooper Webb, the points leader, was buried deep but came charging through on his red-plated number 1, getting around Joey Savatgy here.
Just so aggressive. Cooper Webb did not hesitate. He rode like he is the champ. We're giving us a reason why he is the champ, and right here.
Osborne making the pass, taking the lead.
So Osborne had a clear track. Could he win his first ever 250 main event as Webb was still slicing his way through the pack, working up from a bad start?
Passing one of the Geico Honda riders there, closes in on Osborne, makes a super aggressive pass, and the new leader in San Diego is the reigning champ.
Osborne would take one shot back at him before this crash would take him out of the top 3.
As the race wound down, nobody had anything for Cooper Webb. And an easy victory at the end of it, as Webb is 2 for 2 in the early season of Monster Energy Supercross. Round 2, Monster Energy Supercross, Petco Park, San Diego, California. The reigning champ hasn't won yet this year. Could tonight be the night in a city where he's never tasted victory? Gate drops and off they went, headed towards the tight left-hander at the first corner.
Across the white line with the whole shot bonus, there's a 22 of Chad Reed, but he would be third behind Freezy, and that would allow Justin Brayton to be out front with the lead.
BTO KTM team lost a bunch of their equipment. It was stolen earlier in the week. Brayton giving them something to be excited about, and here comes Dungey challenging to the inside, and the Red Bull KTM rider moves to the point.
Chad Reed was on the move, though. Here he goes to the inside of Brayton. That's for second. Freezy would still be in fourth.
Factory Yamaha rider looking good. How about one for the factory Honda team? Cole Seeley has looked very good in 2016, and he sees himself up near the front till a little coming together here with his old nemesis, Jason Anderson.
Anderson just so aggressive, but meanwhile Dungey was out front. Reed was chasing him down. The lead was about a second and a half for a better part of the race.
Coming to the line, Dungey would finally get the win here in America's finest city, as he takes his first win of 2016. Reed would finish second, but there was some controversy, Jeff, and it involved Jason Anderson.
The red cross flag was out. Jason Anderson there comes by. The cross flag is still waving, and you have to single the triple. Anderson right there doubles the first 2 jumps. So, well, let's take a second look right here. Watch on the right of your screen as Anderson comes by. The red cross flag is still out. So his finish was still under review.
Not for the win, though. Dungey got that and the points lead as the series now heads back up I-5 north to Anaheim.
So Webb dominated, Dungey dominated, but at the beginning of that 450 main event there for a while, Vince Friese's up there, Justin Brayton's up there and led a lap. Chad Reed had a chance to get in front and try to get away before Dungey caught him. He just couldn't do it.
No, and they stayed right there. I mean, you know, Dungey, if he made a little bit of a bobble,
Yep.
Chad was there to capitalize on it. I think that, you know, Dungey knows that. And, you know, Reed's going to win one of these things. He's going to put himself in a good position. His starts were on all night. And I think that, you know, him working with Michael Byrne, and he said that, you know, hey, me and Burner, we did a bunch of starts and everything. And I think it's paying off for him right now because he got the whole shot in that main event. He collected $1,500 from supercrosslive.com from us, and he put it to good use, and he put himself in a good position. We always talk about it, Andy. You got to put yourself in a good position to win one of these things, and Chad Reed's putting himself in good position.
And if you do that enough, sooner or later it's going to pay off.
It's going to happen.
But there's a little bit of controversy in the 450, a lot of controversy. They talked about it in that highlights package, but you had a chance to talk to Kevin Crowther from the AMA, so let's go ahead and see what you guys had to talk about.
Jim Holley, Race Day Live, presented by Amsoil. Well, I'm here with Kevin Crowther, the director of AMA Supercross. Kevin, last weekend in San Diego, there was an issue with Jason Anderson jumping on the red cross flag. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I think in the main event we had an issue where I believe Justin Bogle went down at the landing of the triple. Triple lights came on, and we had red cross flags leading into the triple. When the riders came around, Jason did double into the triple and then singled out.
And at that point, when those red flags, they're flashing, the red cross light, you got to roll all 3.
Yeah, it actually states in the rule book now that if the lights or the flags come out, you have to roll all 3 of them. Even if you see the incident at the beginning of the triple, or if you know it's at the exit, you can't double into or double out of it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but a couple years ago, him and Seeley also, they had an issue at one of the Anaheims here where he was jumping on the red cross flag.
Yeah, we did spend the night in the trailer on that one too, and I don't remember all the details of it, but unfortunately, yeah, we've been there before.
Yeah, I remember that one. It was a championship, and there was a lot of points there. But is it a standard thing that it's just a 2-position penalty?
Yeah, the rule book actually states now that the penalty for jumping on the red cross or the red lights is a 2-position penalty, and any positions you might have gained. So if somebody jumps past somebody, it's going to be 3 positions at that point.
And I know you guys have worked diligently on it to make it fair for everybody, because I know in the past that some guys have come and said, well, man, I was wide open. So, okay, well, to alleviate that problem, we're going to put a flag prior to that, so you guys have ample time to get out of the throttle and get on the brakes and roll these 3 jumps. It's just a safety thing.
Yeah, I think, you know, trying to give them that time, especially when there's a run up to the jump, we move the flags back as far as we can. The reality here is it doesn't matter if the lights are on, the lights are off. If there's one flag out, one red cross flag. You know, we went through this years ago with the Ryan Villapoto incident with the red cross flags, and we changed the rule around after that to make sure that everybody understood that the red cross flag takes precedence over everything. So one flag, 2 flags, lights, it doesn't matter. If there's a flag out there, you have to abide by that flag. And to be honest with you, the other thing we have an issue with is we need to make sure that we don't open the triple until it's safe too. So that's why sometimes you'll see the lights go off on the triple, but the flag stays out. And the flag stays out because that guy's making sure, like in this case, Seeley was in the middle of that triple. So we're not going to open that back up until we have a gap in the riders to make it safe. We don't want to open it back up when there's a rider in the middle of it and then have somebody land on top of him coming out of it. So, there's some important things going on there, and that's why sometimes you'll see those lights go off and the flags stay out.
And we heard from the AMA right there. Let's hear from Jason Anderson.
Jim Holley, Race Day Live here at Anaheim, presented by Amsoil. Well, Jason Anderson, last week we talked to you on the podium, but unfortunately that third got docked down to fifth last weekend. But not it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, for sure. It could have been a lot worse. Going first and third/fifth in the second round is not such a bad deal, but just looking forward to trying to be back on the podium this weekend.
You know, we talked to the AMA and stuff, and it was a red cross flag issue and stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you and Seeley had that same issue a couple years ago when you won the championship on the West Coast in that 250 class.
Yeah, they always seem to, I guess, want to get me on those deals. So yeah, it was a bummer deal, but it was very similar to what I did in 2014. So hopefully we could have the same outcome and maybe a championship or somewhere up front.
Let me ask you this, you know, you've been putting in great rides, and I know when we were here January 9th, you know, you had to come from, I think you were like 7th or 8th, and you came back up to win it. What's going on with your starts, man? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but you got a brand new Toyota Tundra at the Monster Energy Cup.
Yeah.
You know, and your starts were great there. You know, you whole shot at all 3 main events there, and then I'm watching you to Anaheim, watching you to San Diego. What happened to those starts?
My starts have actually not been too bad. Just the two mains are my only really bad ones. But in the heat last weekend, I should have had the whole shot. And then the restart at Anaheim, I was up front right away. So just yeah, I definitely feel like they'll come around. I'll be up front, and yeah, I don't feel like they're gone. I just feel like circumstances with like gate picks and everything that I've been kind of put into, kind of been off a little bit.
Let me ask you this, today here Anaheim, the 23rd of January, that start, you're going to run it in, and it's a right-hander, and then right after that, immediately step on, step off, a nice long rhythm lane all the way down the third base side.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's kind of a little bit old school with the way it's set up, but I think it'll be you have no rear brake in the corner, so that's going to be interesting to see how everyone's going to push out. So we'll see how it is when it comes 7:30 tonight.
Well, and the other thing I was looking at is gate pick's going to be really critical here, because if you look, the gates to the right-hand side, the 7 of them, I mean, you're put out. I mean, they actually had to alter the backside of the berm. It's kind of cut off square, so they have the room to get into that first turn. So it's going to be tight.
Yeah, for sure, it's definitely going to be tight, but I think it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
And you heard from the AMA, you heard from Jason Anderson, but you know what's funny to me? It's not funny, it's just interesting. When you have a beef with somebody, I guess we'll call it a beef, but a tiff, whatever you want to call it, you're going to stay with that guy for a couple weeks. I think Jason Anderson and Cole Seeley are going to find themselves on the track tonight. What's your opinion?
Well, the thing about it, I mean, you know, you look at Kevin Crowther, and he's up in the scoring, and he's writing down. You know, he looks at passes on everybody, not just Anderson, but he's got a little notepad. And you know, something looks bad, he writes down the number, and then he'll go back and address the situation in the AMA semi after the race, and you know, he showed me a little bit of an aggressive move that they had last week in San Diego. So they're definitely watching Anderson, and you don't want to bring your attention to yourself.
Right. Well, speaking of bringing attention, we're going to bring more attention to this amazing track. It's time for this week's Kawasaki track map.
Well, it's something I like about the Kawasaki track map that we changed this year. We don't have the arrow, compliments of MX versus ATV. We got a real guy when the gate drops, 2016 here, round 3. You're going to run it down like we talked about all morning. It's that right-hander, your brakes. You know, your brake side to the right there. There's that triple section we saw running down the third base side. Now it's going to be a right-hander. This is all sand in here with a couple little whoops in here.
Deep sand.
This could be technical in this section right here. After that, that's our first set of whoops that are big. Another 180 right out of that. You're going to hit this. I don't think they're going to quad it. He can quad it, but I don't think they're going to quad it today. And then a nice triple. Another left-hander here. A triple coming out of this corner. This is a nice rhythm lane also. You got to keep that flow as you're seeing land on that step on, step off, single in, a right-hander. Out of here, you're going to come into another set of our second set of whoops here. Then another little triple here, and you're going to double into the corner. Another left-hander. We talked about how many left-handers there were on this course. There's the big 65-foot triple. After that, a couple little rollers. You come into that corner. Look for guys to get underneath, because that's the finish line right there, the Monster Energy finish line. But after that, you're still not done. You got a sweeping right-hander, this wall jump that you want to downside, and then you're getting to get back on the starting line. So last weekend in San Diego was a left-hander. This week, it's a right-hander.
Right. And it obviously is a challenging track with 2 whoop sections. The first whoop section is pretty big. the guys are the A groups are starting to get over the tops of them, but the B and C groups are struggling there a little bit. But it's a challenging track. It's round 3. It's time to pick up the pace a little bit with the tracks. That's typically what they do. But it's also time for our Fantasy Insider segment. Now, I'm thinking Ryan Dungey, Eli Tomac, Ken Roczen. Those are my 3 guys. That's my podium so far.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. You can also pick a wild card, for
right.
9th. Who's going to finish up 9th? I think that's going to be the hardest one. But obviously, you got to go with those. But then when are you going to put number 3 up on the podium? Eli Tomac is now round 3. It's the number 3. It's the 23rd. There's a 3 in there. When are you going to put Trey Kennard up there? He nailed down that section in the free practice that we talked about.
Smooth.
He looks smooth. Of course you can't leave out the top picks, like you said, Anderson, Dungey, Seeley, all those guys that are in there right now.
Yeah, Chad Reed, he almost won that thing last weekend. One little slip up from Dungey, and Chad Reed wins that main event, his 46th main event of his career. And then you got, you just said Tomac, Seeley. Seeley's always fast in Anaheim, and Davey Millsaps was second fastest in the first 450A session this morning. So look for Davey Millsaps as a wild card. That's pretty awesome right there.
Well, and like you're getting a chance to look at that graphic there, and one guy that I think that should be up there is Trey Kennard. I think Trey Kennard's going to have to step it up. I know that he's had a rough couple weekends. He's been fast, but not like the fast that we've seen Trey Kennard last year. Right. So we'll see if he can jump up there. But those are excellent picks, and you notice Dungey took away the red background from Anderson.
Yeah, right. Yeah, those are all good picks. Remember to go to rmfantasysx.com and get signed up today to put in your fantasy picks, because it's tough this year. It's really tough. Dean Wilson, got a top 10 in the first race. Last weekend he wins the heat race and then goes out and has a little bit of a struggle in the main event, but obviously has the speed.
He does, and you thought last weekend with him winning that heat race, like you said, okay, he's going to jump up. Maybe this is time where we're going to see the number 15 get a podium, but unfortunately he didn't. He had still a good ride in San Diego, but he's got to carry that momentum out of the heat race into those main events.
He does. Well, we know everybody wants to get on the track. We want to get on the track. We're going to have a few words. We'll be right back. Amsoil. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
High RPM aggressive riding takes a toll on your engine. Extreme heat adds to the challenge. Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil synthetic base oils resist viscosity loss. The oil provides a protective film against wear to gears, bearings, and pistons. An extreme simulated start test and on-track testing with professional riders reveals Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil delivers bulletproof wear protection. Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil. Out front performance.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute invites you to text SX to 82257. Enter for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE. Again, text SX to 82257 for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE.
What's up, guys? Chase here at Rocky Mountain ATV-MC, and it is time for Fantasy Supercross. If you played Fantasy Supercross last year, the gameplay for this year is going to feel very similar. However, we have made some big changes to scoring that we think you guys are going to love. For 2016, we'll be giving away over $100,000 in prizes. Our grand prize will be the all-new 2016 Toyota Tacoma. We also have a brand new Race Prep KX450F and a KX250F for our first and second place winners. We have got a ton of other prizes that we're going to be giving away as well. We've also got weekly prizes for our top 10 winners, so if you get a late start to the season, it's not a big deal. You will still have plenty of chances to win. To start playing, simply go to www.rmfantasysx.com and create an account. RM Fantasy SX is fun, it is easy to play, and it makes Monster Energy Supercross even more exciting, so make sure you sign up and start today.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
Everything you thought you knew about off-road vehicles is about to be redefined. Introducing the world's first and only pure sport side-by-side, the all-new YXZ 1000R from Yamaha. With a high-performance 3-cylinder engine, 5-speed sequential shifting, and long-travel Fox suspension, the world of off-road sports side-by-sides has shifted forever.
I'm Juliana Daniel, Miss Supercross 2016, and you're watching Race Day Live.
And welcome back to Angel Stadium. It's round 3 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. We are currently under a red flag condition here, and we're going to hope everything's okay with the rider that's down. But,
yeah, it should be okay. He's got about 6 more minutes left in the 250 Group C, but unfortunately it's hard. You know, when you're out there, your first time practice there, one of your competitors goes down like that, you have to kind of restack them up. That's why we see the guys behind us just kind of waiting, but hopefully he'll be all right. He's in good hands with that Asterix Mobile Medical Unit.
You know, another guy we haven't mentioned yet is Weston Peick, and we had a chance to talk to him last week in the Toyota Tailgate segment. Going to be good to have him back. You know, he's sorry, they're sorry, everybody's sorry. It's time for him to go racing, but let's go ahead and check out this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk.
Mayra Tinajero with Race Day Live, brought to you by Amsoil. Welcome to this round's Toyota Tailgate Talk. Now, we love going behind the scenes, and I'm here with Weston Peick. Now, Weston, it's a bummer not to see you racing tonight, but you're going to be around next week, right?
Yeah, you know, it's a bummer. You know, I had a little incident last weekend in racing, and you know, just looking forward to get back on the track next weekend and do some racing.
Cool, but you were still signing some autographs, hanging out with the fans. I saw you taking some photos. You know, how was it, you know, kind of taking a week off and doing some more of that stuff?
You know, taking the week off wasn't ideal, but, you know, I came out here to support the fans and the team and signed autographs for everybody and just kind of hanging around the pits and just, you know, just showing the fans some respect and all the sponsors. So just, like I said, looking forward to get back to racing and have a good rest of the season. Absolutely, and now we've got Phil Nicoletti filling in for you this week, right? Yeah, Phil's filling in this weekend for me, and, you know, hopefully he can get out there and get off to a good start. And he's on your bike? Yeah, he's riding my bike, you know, which, you know, it's kind of a bummer for me. You know, it's my girl pretty much, but you know, hopefully he doesn't break it or nothing like that, or have to get a new bike. So. But you know what? It's been so great out here. Tell us, you know, what you're going to be up to tonight watching the race. You know, tonight I have a few things going on. I'll be doing the Wiener Stencil Dog Race, drop gate, and just some live TV interview stuff with some other people at the podium. So just kind of hanging around watching and just helping out the guys on the team. So I'm sure you made your pick for who's going to be on the podium tonight of the guys, but what about the dogs? You know, it's a cool little thing that they're doing with Wiener Stencils. So, you know, we'll just kind of go out there and support the sponsors and just kind of have fun with it and just kind of show some respect to the crowd. Well, it was really great seeing you out here today. I know we're not going to get to see you ride, but you'll be back next week, and I'm sure with a vengeance.
And it's good to have Weston back. You know, he podium guy last year, really coming into his own, a hard worker, worked hard to get where he is, and it's going to be good to have him back. And interestingly enough, his filling guy,
Phil Nicoletti.
Right.
I mean, he was filling in. You saw the number 34 there, and now he just takes his number plates off of that bike and transition over, change the number plates, and he's going to be filling in for Justin Barsha. Unfortunately, Justin Barsha not here, having thumb surgery, but looks like Phil's going to be around at all the Supercross rounds from now until the end in May 7th.
But we saw Weston have a lot of fun last weekend. He was involved with the Wiener Schnitzel Wiener Dog race, and Mayra had some more information on that stuff. And here later on in the show, we're going to go back and look at a little bit more at that. But it's pretty funny,
I mean, you saw him there. He was actually doing the starting gate for the Wiener Dog Nationals there, and they start off. That's a good thing that the Wiener Schnitzel puts together. I think the crowd really gets into it. I know. When we were here on January 9th for the opener, Sean Wynn, he used to ride Supercross. He brought his Wiener Dog now to race, So it's ironic that he used to race here at Anaheim, and now he brings his dog to come race at Anaheim. But I thought it was pretty cool. But getting back to a guy like Phil Nicoletti filling in, I mean that's so hard to come off the couch and fill in for 1 or 2 races or whatever. But now, in his mind, he knows he's going to be here for the rest of the rounds.
Absolutely. It's good to have him back. But more on the Wiener Schnitzel dog races. It was pretty cool. We have some more footage. Let's go back and look at some more of that.
I've been cruising the Monster Energy pit party all day, and well, I decided I needed a snack. I came and stopped over with Wiener Schnitzel and grabbed me a hot dog, which fans can do as they're cruising around as well. But not only do they have hot dogs during the day at the pit party, they also have real wiener dogs in the intermission. Tell us about your guys' races going on.
Well, we wanted to change things up a little bit for the intermission portion of the races. So we invited out some of the top wiener dogs that are known for racing the Wiener Nationals up in Orange County every year.
Wait, so there's dogs that are known for racing?
Yes, some of these dogs have bigger followings than people, believe it or not. And they're getting ready to do battle tonight.
Nice, maybe they're gonna have better finishes than some of the riders out there actually. All right, well Jim and Andy can't be jealous because they did not join me at the pit party, so I'm gonna enjoy my hot dog without them.
And like I said, that's one of the coolest sponsor activations in the pits that I've seen so far. Not so far, but it's definitely cool. It's a good time. Those wiener dogs are really fired up to race. We actually had a GoPro strapped to the winning dog, I think.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was incredible. I mean, that was some great footage. There he is. He's in the third gate.
Yeah.
Look at he wanted to get some good footage. Let's watch him come out of the gate here with that
Number
GoPro.
3.
He's anxious. Well, you can hear the other dogs in the background. They're ready to go. The gate's stuck. Come on, let's get this thing going here. There it is. There he goes. Now he's going, but he's looking around. We
definitely don't have the winner.
He wanted to go over he wanted to go over and see the Monster girls and check out the rest of the course. You're seeing that's pretty cool. Maybe his handler's a little upset that he didn't win, but he got some great footage for us.
Yeah, Woody the Wonder Dog. I believe that's what his name is, but look at him go. Pretty cool perspective there from the GoPro Hero 4 camera.
There's his handler there. She finally had to clip him in and said, you can't take a lap around. We were just supposed to go straight.
Right.
And he deviated off to the right.
Yeah. Well, we're still under a red flag condition here at Anaheim at round 3. We're just kind of bench racing here. We have a guy we haven't really talked about yet that's sitting 8th in the points, Jake Weimer.
Yeah, you mentioned Jake Weimer, and, he's working with Donnie Hansen. And I asked him today, I went down there and I was talking to him. I said, hey, Donnie was known for Whole Shot Hansen for his starts in there. I really haven't seen those starts. And I said, I had to remind him, supercrosslive.com, that's $1,500 if you get a start. I said, he goes, no, I know, I want to get a start. But, Steve Lampson's over there at Team Tedder, and I was thinking of Dakota because I was watching Dakota. He made the main event here at Anaheim, and unfortunately last weekend he was leading in the
last chance qualifier, and got a good thing going on there. Jake Weimer, we got to remember, he's a 250 divisional champion, a whole bunch of talent, a whole bunch of bad luck. Last year kind of going through the motions, and Trey lands on him after he makes a mistake, but he's back. He looks really good.
Well, and I talked to him with that 8th. I said, hey, you got Trey Kennard who finished 7th. He's on a factory Honda, and then the guy behind you on the factory KTM, Marvin Muskin. I said, that 8th is great. You're sitting 8th in the points. You got 22 points this year. You're right in the mix of things. I go, Matt Tedder, he's got to be happy with you, and all the guys at Kawasaki. And the key, he said, working with Donnie Hansen and working with Steve Lampson, having him in his corner, and also getting a good bike. I'm sure Kawasaki's giving him some good parts now, and he's showing what he can do on a good motorcycle.
Well, that's a new motorcycle this year, that 2016 KX450F. Our rider right there is the Asterix Medical Unit is taking care of him. Going to keep our best wishes and thoughts and prayers with him for his recovery in the best condition he can be in. You hear the engines fire back up, and like everybody wants to see, we're going to be back on track here. There's a great view of the track. You can see the rhythm lane there that goes from foul pole to foul pole, and they do that twice. So think about that. Think about a 15-lap main event, a 20-lap main event going through that rhythm lane as long as this stadium is. That's going to be a challenge for sure, Jim Holley.
Yeah, I think this track in general, just kind of looking at the free practice, the lap times and things like that, it's going to be a long main event, that's for sure. As we're seeing the C guys get ready to go back out, and they got about 8 minutes to go there on their practice. And they're actually on the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. The starting gate just a little bit behind there. They don't want to, get too many ruts coming out of that gate, so they kind of push them up a little bit from the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. But needless to say, these guys are ready. They've got their whole shot devices locked in, ready to go, and they're hoping that they can put down some good laps as they're off.
And it was Luke Clout early on in this session that had the fastest lap. He had it by, I think, 2 seconds in the first session. But
well, you mentioned him. That's the guy that's filling in for Daniel Baker there, as we're getting a chance to watch him, the man from Australia. Yeah, he looks good in the whoops.
Wasn't scared to send it in there with some speed.
No, he didn't.
It always, it's a tough part of our sport is crashes and injuries, and it always really got to me when I was waiting, on the starting line for them to help a rider that was down. You remember that feeling, and then knowing that when it was time to go again, it was time to pull the trigger, and you just have to block it out and ride.
Yeah, absolutely, Andy. You feel bad for your competitor that
yes.
Went down, but on the other hand, you're here to do a job, and you have to kind of put that out and focus in on your job, like we're seeing Luke Clout do right now, and he looks good. That section there's that big 65-foot triple there. The man from Australia. A lot of Australians racing over here this year.
Yeah, and we'll give some love to his sponsor, the Dirt Candy Graphics Yoshimura Suzuki team there. They picked up a good one with that Aussie. 384 is Lorenzo Comparisi. Lorenzo Comparisi. It's a little bit of a tough one.
Sounds like an Italian to me.
He does. As you can see, conditions are absolutely perfect. The sun is out. We were worried about rain again here in Anaheim. I heard 60%. I heard 20%. I'll turn around and look over our shoulders, Jim Holley, and as you can see in the camera right now,
we got shadows.
We got California sunshine.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and you're going to have a chance to dry out the track a little bit. You're going to see when they come into that first turn, it's a little bit greasy off to the left-hand side. Everybody kind of just going to the inside, but now with that sun, they're able to drift out a little bit to the left and make some other passing lanes.
Interesting lane here. In the A group, they're tripling up on top of that tabletop and then pretty much doubling into the corner. Here's the second set of whoops. Not as big as the first set of whoops.
Now you can see they're able to get across those pretty good. Just kind of bounce over those others. You see a few of the ruts in the corners there. You're getting a chance to look at some of the guys go through some of those ruts right there. They're going to come up to the Monster Energy finish line and send it as we see 8:17. Actually, should have clicked down here. I think they got a little bit less time. They're going to have to reset it. 5 minutes and 39 seconds to go in this first C Group 250 qualifying session.
Luke Clout with a 1:03.1. He's 4 seconds faster than Kyle Fry in second so far. Followed by Dimitri Rolando. Dimitri Rolando rolls up into second. Then Kyle Fry and Bradley Leonet and Dalton Oxborough rounding out the top 5 in 250C, qualifying number 1.
Well, and I'm sure Luke Clout right now with that time, if he has a good finish here, he'll bump him up into that B group, and that's where he belongs, because clearly he's faster in this C group, but because of the fact that he's filling in, he doesn't have no points. First time out there, they got to put him into this one, but that's a good enough time, I think. If he gets a good start, he can put that Suzuki into that main event.
He sure can. I always like watching the C group qualifying. I was talking to Clayton Miller from Texas down on track walk, and we don't really give these guys enough credit. These guys are the best Supercross riders in the world. I talked about it a little bit last week, but I want to talk about it every week. It's being in the top 20 is amazing. Making it to the night show, being in the top 40 is also amazing. It's tough. You don't just get to show up to Anaheim and Angel Stadium and go race in front of 30 or 40,000 people.
And that's the hardest thing, like you said, the crowd. It's really not the racetrack. The racetrack's a little bit gnarly, but it's the crowd when you get into these stadiums and you see you hear the crowds when you're out there riding. If somebody crashes or makes a mistake, you hear the crowd roar. You're going, wow, what's going on?
Right.
That's so hard to duplicate. You know, the only way to do it is just get some seat time underneath you.
I agree, Jim Holley. And a guest we're going to have on the show later on, David Pingree. He's won here twice, but he's also been leading here and had arm pump and fell out of the lead. So he knows both ends of the spectrum. He's fed off of the energy of the crowd. He's also kind of choked up a little bit and got nervous.
Well, and another race that I remember where the crowd really roared was in Phoenix when he landed short on the triple.
Lost the
and
front
had
wheel off of his bike.
The front wheel, I can't remember if the triple clamp or what broke, but man, that was incredible, and he walked away from it, which was good.
Yeah, which was really good. It's gonna be fun to talk to David. Funny guy, smart guy, one of the most respected journalists in the industry, and now he's a full-time fireman. We're gonna talk to him about that road, and there we go. If you can triple that first one and triple the second one, then you go double and triple out. That's what Kennard was doing in that section.
Well, and for you RM Fantasy players, you watch Kennard in that section, that might way you to maybe pick for Trey Kennard, because I didn't see anybody else do it in that free practice.
Trey Kennard starts the season with 2 7th-place finishes. I'm a little bit surprised by that, but then again, it's not a complete catastrophe. It's not horrible, but Trey wants to win races, and I think he's expected to win races, and I think he'll be on the podium soon.
Yeah, the other thing too is the opener here. You know, he was charging up towards the front, and all of a sudden it looked like something happened. He got a boat anchor on the rear wheel, and he just kind of went backwards. And you know, I know that there were a lot of big brass Honda boys from Japan here that night. They really want to see a Honda win, and that's always distracting. You know, when you got your bosses looking over your shoulder.
And then your teammates got 2 podiums in a row, so adds a little bit of pressure there.
Yeah.
When you're the senior member of the team.
Well, this one's winding down, about 2 minutes to go for this Group C 250 first qualifying session for him. And here's that sand section that we talked about, Andy. And, you get in there, and you got to remember that some of the tires they pick will work on, 95% of the track. But then you get to that sand, and you're kind of, sometimes it's deceiving for some of these guys. They go in there, and they go, man, I don't think my suspension's working, this and that. Well, 9 times out of 10, it's the tires not hooking up and causing the suspension to do something different.
There's Tyler Custer. Number 424. Tyler Custer comes to us from Creston, California. Looking pretty good out there.
You see right there, he downsided that. He looks like he's on a hot lap right now. He's got a good, clean track in front of him, and that's the key right there. Some of his other guys, you see him passing, they're off to the side, which is pretty nice that, you get out of the racing lane.
His
bumps up.
Yeah, his mechanic probably put on the board, hey, it's time to go. About a minute and a half. If he's sitting 8th, so he should be comfortably into the fast 40. But hey, gate picks are where it's all about.
Yeah, 107 for Tyler there. Let's see if when he comes over the finish line, if that bumps him up a little bit. He's 8th, and actually bumped him up to 5th that last lap. Like I said, he was on a heater, a 106.8 for
Good
Tyler
lap.
Custer.
Good lap for Tyler.
Yeah. And now you see what he's doing. He's just going to catch his breath, get his composure back again, and then he's going to go attack one more time because he doesn't have enough time. He's got about 38 seconds. That's not enough to put it in another one. So you got to remember that these guys can roll this section, but you can't stop. Yeah. And a lot of guys, sometimes what happens is, a guy will stall the motorcycle and the AMA takes his, well, no, I stalled it.
Yeah.
Are you sure? It's just, there's a little tactics in there. Sometimes the guys will say, oh, I had a mechanical, my bike stalled, this, that, but you want to race the track, that's for sure.
And it's Luke Clout stepping into his new role over there with the Dirt Candy Graphics Yoshimura Suzuki squad, posting up a 102.4. It's a pretty good lap time when you consider in the first 258 practice, Zach Osborne was the fastest with a 58.9. So a couple seconds off the pace, but right in the hunt.
Yeah, and I know the guys, Robert Lind from Sweden, he retired. He's the team manager over that new Yoshimura Suzuki 250 team there. And then, when we hit to the East Coast, as you're getting a chance to look at the timing and scoring right here, when we hit that East Coast, Matt Bisceglia is on that team. I saw the big number 32 over there yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how he'll
do good
on that new bike. Yeah.
He's stealthy. He's super fast, the Texan, Matt Bisceglia. He had some good rides last year. Had some bad luck with some good starts. He was always starting at the front and then losing the front end, and things didn't come together. A young guy, I look for him to kind of surprise when the series move east. And there's going to be a lot of surprises when the series moves east because it's pretty stacked over there.
Yeah, Adam Cianciarillo's over there. I got
Malcolm
a chance.
Stewart.
I was down there at the DC Shoes and number 44. Got his bike there, and he looks good. I talked to Russ, his manager. I said, Russ, how's he doing? He'll be ready to go, you know. So we'll see what happens with Adam Cianciarillo. We know that, you know, he's not at the Alden Baker training camp. He opted to do his own thing and change pace. So we'll have to see, because remember when he turned, you know, his first pro ride out, man, he won the opener in Dallas. So, I mean, the kid's got a lot of talent. He's super fast. The thing is, are his shoulders healthy enough? And I think they are. They've given him enough time, and that'll be the key.
He's put on weight. Have you seen him recently
in
the pits?
He's bulked up a little bit.
Right. I wanted to talk about Adam a little bit. You know, we wanted to have him on the show a couple weeks ago, but you know what he was doing? Training and riding and devoting himself 100% to being ready for this year's 250 East Region Championship. And it's a very important one for him. He's been injured for the better part of 2 seasons, and it's time for him to put it together.
Time for him to win. I know Mitch Payton wants him to win the championship, that's for sure.
Right. You know, and Mitch's boys so far, well, there's our schedule coming up. We're going to go to Oakland next weekend, and then I'm very excited about going to Glendale, the University of Phoenix Stadium. The track's going to go outside the stadium there. Of course, Military Appreciation Night at Petco Park. Always fun to go to Arlington and AT&T Stadium.
You mentioned Arlington. No, traditionally, that's a East Coast round to start, but that is a West Coast round. The East Coast will start in Georgia on February 27th. Then you got Daytona on May 5th. Then we move back to the Rogers Center, Toronto, Canada, Ford Field, Detroit, Levi Stadium back on April 2nd for a West Coast round. The Lucas Oil Stadium, April 8th. And then Edwards Jones Dome, which you got to remember, that's going to be a day race.
Day race.
Gillette Stadium there, that's also going to be a day race. And then it's going to be a night race at MetLife. And then the final round in Las Vegas, Sam Boyd Stadium on May 7th.
Back on track, 250A group on track right now. Let's see what the A guys have to do with this track. It was a 58.9 was the fastest lap time by Zach Osborne the first time they were out. So 250A qualifying number 1. Let's watch them go. I believe that's Kyle Peters there from North Carolina. Always does a good job on, you know, not a lot of support, a lot of talent. If he keeps that up, that'll change. You know, I think hard work and good finishes are rewarded. And Kyle Peters has what it takes to get into that top 5 and kind of rattle the cages of some of those factory boys.
Yeah, absolutely. And you take a guy like Kyle Peters.
Yeah.
You know, just you know, not quite. You know, last weekend that 7th, like you said. You know, he qualified in 15th, he started 10th, and he finished up 7th. So
charging.
Not a bad way for Kyle Peters to finish up in San Diego, sitting 8th right now in the points. So Alex Martin in 7th with 25. So he's got guys riding around there. He can pick it up as we're seeing the man who's got 6 wins kind of strung together. 4 from last year in 2015, and then he's got 2 going already here in 2016.
I think the first thing he's lost this year was the first untimed qualifying. Zach Osborne beat him by a couple tenths or a couple hundredths. That probably made him mad too. This guy's dominating. He's riding hard. I really like watching him come through the pack. He's aggressive, but he's smart. You know, he finds out where his fast points are. He finds lanes on the track to make moves, and he attacks and makes them.
Well, and I think the key is he doesn't follow. I mean, that's the thing about it. He won't follow somebody into a corner. He's going to take a different line, and if you watch him like we're watching him here today in qualifying, he'll move that bike around, and it's almost like, you know, like right there, he didn't even go in the rut. The rut might have been the fast line, but he wants to see if he can make other lines work for him. It's almost like he knows he's not going to get the good start, and he's going to have to come through the pack. So that's why he tries a lot of different lines, and you know, hopefully he can you know, keep this momentum going, because I'd love to see him in Atlanta on a 450.
I would too. I think everybody watching would. That reminds me, I want to thank everybody for joining us on Race Day Live. It's round 3 in Anaheim Stadium. We want to thank all of our international viewers for tuning in. A great percentage of all of our viewers are international viewers, and that's really special. So thank you for watching.
Well, especially our military personnel that are over. I know Larry, he's in the Marines. He's listening over in Jordan right now. So we want to give a shout out to all of our, you know, Armed Forces Network that are watching all over the world on, you know, Race Day Live.
On supercrosslive.com. There's Joey Savatgy, and
still beat up a little bit, I think.
He crashed pretty hard last weekend. I talked to Bones, and you know, he said he was okay, but he said, hey, do a sit-up, and he was like, I don't want to do a sit-up. But he went out there and placed second in the main event.
Yeah, that's huge right there out of the whoops there to triple
Triple.
that section, then single, carry that momentum around.
And in the early going, it is Cooper Webb, Zach Osborne, Christian Craig, Joey Savatgy. Joey Savatgy jumps up to second now, followed by Osborne, Craig, and Mitchell Harrison, the rookie. Got to give him some props. Been really impressive throughout the first 2 weeks. Made the main events, and I mean, top 5 speed there in the 250A group. That's undeniable. That's really strong.
Yeah, and you talk, about a guy like Mitchell Harrison, a rookie coming in and everything. I know that, he's happy, but, his times are good and his qualifying times are fast, but sitting 18th right now in the points there, for Mitchell Harrison.
As we're watching Michael Lieb in camera right now, I think he's going to abandon that lap. Yeah, pulls out of there. But yeah, Mitchell, the rookie, not one of the more highly touted rookies, but proven to make a name for himself real quickly early on in this 250 West Region Championship.
Get a chance
Aldridge.
now to watch, Savatgy's teammate there, Chris Aldridge, which
I'm not giving up on him either. I think he's had a couple rough weeks, but he has speed. He can get the job done. He needs a good start. Needs to feel the pace at the front of the pack. And
he had good starts last year, I remember. He was up in the hunt in the starts last year, but
couldn't keep it off the ground.
Yeah, the starts, he's keeping it on the ground now, but his starts have kind of faltered a little bit. You see where they go by the mechanics area right there. Some of the signboards out right now, just kind of telling the guys where they're at.
Trevor Reese, number 82.
Christian Craig now jumps up to that top spot of 58-1 for
by
Christian
a good
Craig.
margin.
He had a good race last weekend, finished up 4th in San Diego for Christian Craig.
There's Zacho. Man, Zach had a good ride going last weekend there. For a little bit, I thought he had it.
Yeah, he was bummed. I talked to him today in the pits, and he was just so bummed out that he made that mistake. And it's one thing if you crash and you lose one position, but he crashed and he lost a lot of positions.
4
Finished
positions.
up 6th last week.
2nd to 6th. There's one little mistake.
Yeah, but he's still kind of keeping on us. He's 14 back. Jordan Smith, is 14 back. Savatgy is also
tied with Zach.
14
15
back. So 15 and 14 for those guys. So I mean, it's
in the event something does happen to Cooper, a bike.
These guys are right in it. That's what you have to do each and every week. You can't, the time to worry is when you go, well, he's got a 25-point lead or he's got a 28-point lead. Okay, he's already got a race on me now.
Keep him within a race, and anything's possible.
See one of the yellow flags there in that sand section. Maybe one of the riders went down. We'll see Osborne as he kind of just cruises around that section, but he's going to pull off of the track.
With just about 3 minutes to go,
Kyle Cunningham right there. He put in a good ride last week at 9th.
I talked to him on track walk as well. Said he feels good, wants to get a good start and show what he can do on that new Suzuki. But just going through the top 5, Joey Savatgy jumps to the top of the board, followed by Zach Osborne, Christian Craig, Cooper Webb, and Mitchell Oldenburg. It's your top 5 so far. Going through the top 10 is James Dakotas, Colt Nichols in 7th, Jordan Smith 8th, Kyle Cunningham 9th, Mitchell Harrison rounding out the top 10.
Mitchell Oldenburger, I mean, he looks really good, and you got to remember that he's still the only guy over there at the Troy Lee KTM Lucas Oil
Lone Wolf.
GoPro Lone Wolf over there, and he stepped it up last week. I was really impressed with him last week.
I was too. Something happened in the main event, but fast in qualifying, fast in his heat race. I think he'll be a podium guy in the next 2 weeks. There's Cooper. Wow, look at the corner speed. Look at the aggression. It's the little in-between places, like on those little doubles, where Cooper makes up the tenths the second. And of course, that berm he just completely annihilated.
Look at that. Step on. He's just flying. He's going to look now.
Yeah,
he's
not
pointing.
happy at those guys messing up his
Oh, that's not good.
Not good there. But he gets the message. But, hey, that's Cooper Webb for good or bad. That's the way he is. He's fiery. He's very
look
fiery.
who's behind Webb right now, though.
Zach
Osborne wanting to kind of chase him around here, and Cooper reminds me a lot like a young Bob Hanna, man. He'll say his mind and do whatever he wants to do, and you know, he's not out there to make any friends.
No.
That's for sure. He don't care. Hey,
doesn't.
you don't like me? You like me? I don't care. I'm here to win races.
And
that's
ride hard.
the same attitude that Bob Hanna took to his approach to his racing career.
Bob Hanna, Damon Bradshaw, a little bit of Ricky Carmichael too. Carmichael was known to throw a helmet or two after a race that he didn't win. I think that's a sign of a champion, you know, a little bit of a temper. Never want to see anybody flip anybody off though, but hey, whatever. As we're watching number 82, Trevor Reese, looking good.
Yeah, Trevor is sitting right now, trying to look on the board where he's sitting at, a little bit down in the points, just outside, but I'm sure he'll pick it back up.
Still at the top, Joey Savatgy with under a minute to go. Stepping up. You know, I bet Mitch is like, hey guys, we win races here in this team. It's time to go. It's tough to beat Cooper Webb, but right now, you know, he's got the fastest lap time, followed by Osborne, Christian Craig. Cooper Webb's in fourth. I think Webb has time for another heater, so we'll see if that doesn't change up a little bit.
There's Trevor sitting in 16th now.
Right.
He's got a 102.1.
Just about the same lap as Luke Clout.
Yep.
There's Cooper. Stuck in lappers again. Not lappers, but doesn't have a clear track. Here's this gnarly rhythm.
Yeah, this is that triple.
And then it'll go all the way over this tabletop, I think. Yep.
Yeah,
And then doubles out.
downsided it. That's what he was mad about, as we're seeing the checkered flag now, the final, the first time practice here in the 250A group. Savatgy looks like going to stick with a 57.7, and Osborne with a 57.7.
Here comes Cooper to take the checkered flag.
Let's see if Cooper drops up. He was on a hot lap there. Let's see if that bumps him up. It don't look like it. Webb fourth right now with a 58.7. So Christian Craig third with a 58.1. So the only two guys, Savatgy and Osborne, right now on top, both with 57.744 for Savatgy and a 57.785 for Zach Osborne.
Mm-hmm. And Miss Ashley Phillips is going to be down on the podium to talk to Joey. Going to be interesting to hear how he feels after his big crash last weekend, but subsequent second place finish. Comes out guns a-blazing and lays down a fast lap here. Going to be cool to talk to him.
Down after Webb, you're going to have Oldenburg, Dakota, Smith, Nichols, and Cunningham, and Alex Martin rounds out your top 10.
Kind of thought I'd see more out of Alex Martin in that new Star Racing
Struggling a little bit with setup. I talked to him today earlier, just suspension, motors, just kind of not really happy. You know, they're making him happy. We'll see what happens.
And we're going to go down to podium.
Fast times 57.6. Seem to keep building on that 57. You were up on top of the FS1 leaderboard the whole time. What is it about this track that's really working for you?
It's technical. You know, we got big whoops, and that's really a separator. So I feel good. My Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki bike's working great. Bones and Adam and everyone over the team are working hard, and I feel good. Confident after last weekend. I know what I need to fix, and yeah.
How important is it to get these fast lap times with the qualifying heading into the heat and knowing that you need a really good gate with this right-hand turn?
Yeah, it's important, mainly for confidence, though, to know that you have the speed to run with those guys and to be quick.
Get my 450 notes
like I said,
ready.
all in all, it's a technical track. The whoops are big, and I'm having fun.
Anything you're going to change or work
Teresa
on
almost
between now
got
and
us
the
to
next
do
round
picks
qualifying?
again on the
Just keep my mind
250.
clear and come up for the heat race, have a good start, and hopefully carry that into the main event and get another good start, and hopefully be up here talking to you or one of the Monster girls on the podium at the end of the night.
Well, we're looking forward to it for sure. One more time for this number 37 machine, Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider Joey Savatgy, the fastest time. There's still one more round of qualifying. Herb?
Fastest time of the day, too. I'll tell you, that 57.
There's the boys at the MX
458.
versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate as they're going to take up. See a few guys back a little closer to that starting gate. Now for you RM fantasy players, keep an eye on number 41 after that first turn.
Right. Let's keep an eye on these two. Riding and training partners down at the Baker's factory. Would have been 1 and 2 in the points. Those are your first two main event winners in 2016 so far. And, you know, the Idle Talk, yeah, they are 1 and 2 in points. Thank you for the correction. A lot of the Idle Talk was Anderson was faster than Dungy at the practice track. and I was interested to see how that would segue to the racetrack. And right now it's kind of a toss-up. They're both super, super fast and look strong.
Yeah, I think Dungey's okay. I mean, that's a practice track. You're faster than me, but, you know, I got more championship, more wins under my belt, and, you know, consistency wins the championship, that's for sure. And Dungey's starting consistent this year with a second and a first out of the gate.
You know, another similarity, Jim, is the machines that they're riding. That new Husqvarna 450 is very similar to Dungey's bike. I think the only thing that may be different is the subframe. And the results kind of speak for themselves. It's an amazing machine. It's the only machines out there that don't have an aluminum frame. They're lighter. Both of them have electric starts. And it seems like they're getting through the corners better.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the thing all along. They say that, you know, some of the aluminum frames are a little stiff. And I think last weekend in San Diego when they made that left-hander to come around up back onto the finish line, you kind of saw a nice even pattern where some of the other guys were struggling a little bit. And it'll be interesting tonight here when they come back onto that start line. It's a right-hander this time, and you can kind of watch and see, you know, some of the guys and see how things are working. But, you know, another guy we really haven't talked about either for those fantasy picks, Kenny Roczen, as we're seeing a chance to watch Justin Brayton now, number 10, who's been getting excellent starts.
Oh, that was a good corner. It was almost too good of a corner. Did you see how fast he came up to that jump?
Yeah.
But, wow, that was amazing.
That's that right-hander we were talking about. And right behind Brayton there is going to be Dean Wilson, another man on a KTM. Seems to be working really well in that sand section now for Dino. Getting into those whoops. And that's the hardest thing, too, is you're coming from sand, your wheels spinning and driving, then you got to get up on top of those whoops. Yeah.
Won him a heat race last weekend. Looked good.
Yeah. Looked real good. And even, you know, in the main event, you know, not a bad finish for him, you know, also in that main event for Dean Wilson.
15th,
but like you said,
I think, 15th.
Yeah, the number 15 was 15th. But I know he wants to see himself and try to get up into, you know, I know the opener he finished 13th, so he hasn't broke that top 10 yet in the final, but he does have a heat race win as we're watching Kenny Roczen now, the German.
Talked to his camp, said he had a good week. Unfortunate for his teammate, Tickle, out with a wrist injury, but they said Kenny isn't deterred from a little bit of bad luck he's had in the first 2 rounds. Was at the front last weekend and went off the track.
And I talked to Oscar Vitterman, his mechanic, and I said, you know, hey, he said, man, we worked on a lot of starts this week.
Yeah.
We were probably 400 of them, he said we did.
Changing clutches.
Yeah. That's that section Cooper Webb was doing. You see how much easier it is on a 450 when you got the torque, and how much easier it is to get up on top of the whoops, and how easy it is to triple that. Hey, we saw the MX versus ATV Unleashed video, and that was a quad, and we were talking about yesterday, Kenny made that triple look easy. Yeah. Somebody may pull the trigger and try to quad that thing. Here comes Dungey in that same section. Let's see what he's going to do.
2-2. 18 podiums in a row.
Yeah, you can count 19, I think.
Yeah,
after tonight.
Yeah. I mean, that has to be a record. Maybe McGrath, I think, has gotten 18 podiums in a row.
No, because you got to go back to McGrath when he won the
Ricky
15 in a row, and then he lost that, so that's only 15 right there. I mean, I'm not sure. We'll have to go to our statistician, Silver, and see if she can look up that information for us.
There's Dakota Tedder. Pulled him a whole shot in the last chance qualifier last weekend. Tall guy. Yeah, Dakota, you know, you're out there, you're leading the last chance qualifier, and you know the Wolves are coming, and you can't get arm pump. You got to stay loose. It's only 4 laps. That's just got to be so tough.
Well, and the other thing, too, is the last Wolf that kind of ate him up was the factory Kawasaki Monster Energy.
Will Hahn.
So, you know, I mean, I'm sure he built on it. I know he went back, talked to Steve Lamson and stuff, and said, you know, just settle down a little bit, you know, and you know, when a guy makes a pass and try to fight him back for that, but then you're saying, wow, man, my arms are pumped up. I'm just trying to hang on out there.
Well, I'm seeing a trend early on in the day, and it involves number 21, Jason Anderson, being at the top of the leaderboard. He was the top of the leaderboard out there in the untimed qualifying session. this first qualifying session number 1. He is at the top with the 57 flat, followed by Ken Roxon, Davey Millsaps, Ryan Dungey, and Trey Kennard rounding out the top 5. 57 flat.
Another Australian there, number 778. I'm looking on the leaderboard as we're getting a chance to watch Wilson.
Lawson
Bopping.
Making that main event at the season opener.
Yeah.
Missed it last weekend, but pretty impressive.
Kyle Chisholm not out there, unfortunately for Kyle Chisholm fans. Has an injury, not going to be able to ride here tonight in Anaheim. Andy, you got a rundown on those 450 injuries.
Yeah.
It is a long list already.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Blake Baggett, James Stewart, Brock Tickle, Justin Barsha, Justin Bogle, Andrew Short, Kyle Chisholm. We call it the deepest field in history, and that's what makes the season opener so special. It's the one time a year where all these guys are healthy, but 2 rounds into it, we've already lost 7 guys, and some of them will be back. It's just tough. That's why this is the toughest sport on dirt. That's how they fill these stadiums and get all the girls, right, Jim Holley?
Absolutely. One guy I'm trying to look for on the leaderboard, and help me out, Andy, but I don't see the 377 of Christophe Pourcel.
I don't see him. I don't either.
See in the B qualifier? I don't think so.
No. Interesting.
Can we see him out on the track? We'll have to take a look behind for the Christophe Pourcel fans. I know a lot of people in France looking, but I don't see him on the board unless maybe his transponder came off or something and they're not getting his lap times. But I'm going to take a look behind me and see if I can see 377 come around the track. Maybe Mayra. We'll have to see if Mayra can get an update on Christophe Pourcel.
Yeah, one of the 3 rookies jumping into the field this year. Came out, been fast in both qualifying sessions the first 2 weeks. I didn't see him have a crash out there. I don't know. Like you said, we'll have Mayra get on top of it and we'll report back. Oh, wait a minute. There he is.
Right to the top of the board. Jeez.
Oh, goodness sakes.
He's a crafty Frenchman, Christophe Pourcel, hiding out there from us, hiding on the leaderboard. I didn't see him, and all of a sudden, boom, he jumps up with a 56.8 for Christophe Pourcel. So, Mayra, we don't have to get an update on him. I don't know. Maybe he was hiding and just talking to his mechanic and then figured I'll go out there and burn a fast lap.
I don't get it, Jim. You think Jason Anderson ain't riding hard? Kenny Roxon, Davey Millsaps, he was the 3rd fastest. And then Pourcel goes out there and just cruises around and says, you know what? I will be fastest in the world on this lap.
Smooth
Bam.
as silk. Smooth as silk. The guy is just, he doesn't use any unnecessary movements on the motorcycle, just puts the bike where he wants it to go, and he does that time and time again. He's laid down fast times.
Yeah, I see him out there just cruising around now.
Yeah,
he laid down his lap.
Around, yeah. Kenny Roxon in, talking to Oscar Vitteman. He's making some changes on the bike, and Phil Nicoletti in to the mechanics areas. We're getting a chance to watch Weston Peick right here, number 28. Welcome back, Weston Peick.
The Viking. I like that nickname, We always kind of look for nicknames with these guys, but...
Well, and I think with Weston, he won Bercy this year in France. He had a lot of confidence coming in. And
Well, he was up there at the front of the heat at round 1. He was trying to get into the heat in the semi, and just him and his old buddy, Vince Friese, couldn't stay away from each other, as you're seeing Chad. Oh,
no pun intended,
That's
old
how
buddy.
You go through the whoops right there.
Chad's loving the whoops here tonight. He's got
this
2
is
sets
definitely
to
a hot
deal
lap.
with.
Reed's currently sitting in 8th, and I think at the end of this lap, if everything keeps going the way those whoops just went, he's going to jump into the top 5 for sure.
Let's see, cross the...
It's a good corner. See how he gets this left. Nice and
backed off.
Called it off. Red cross flags out.
Cross flag. See,
because Dean Wilson's down.
Unfortunately for Dean Wilson, but he looks like he's up and okay. He just kind of went over the berm a little bit. Dr. John Bogner's down there talking to Wilson right now, and we only have just a little bit more to go. 2-1-0. That's it. The checker flag is going to come out, and the first A qualifying session is over. And I think maybe we'll have to talk to Ray Butts on the RM Supercross Fantasy Picks. Maybe we can put for next year, maybe who's going to be the top qualifier.
Right.
Because then that'll be easy.
Right. Well, we've been asking the questions, and Lurch is going to ask the question of Christophe Pourcel, how he was the fastest guy in that first 450 Group A qualifying session. I'm interested to hear how he did it. He was faster by 0.2.
Well, and he put it in lap number 8. That's when he put in that fastest lap, you know.
Dino got up.
Pourcel, you're going to see 2 Huskies at the top of that board there. Oh, no, now Trey Kennard jumps up into second on that last lap with a 56.9, but still a 56.8 for Pourcel, leading him with Kennard, Anderson, Roxon, Millsaps, and Dungey.
Good lap there by Trey to close it out. Going to the podium here with Lurch and Christophe Pourcel, number 377, the Frenchman, the fast Frenchman.
There's Dino you saw there, just ahead of Reed.
Tomac. Top 5, Pourcel, Kennard, Anderson, Roxon, Millsaps. Millsaps in the top 5 in both so far.
Tomac 11th. Not good qualifying session for him, a 58.3, and just ahead of him, Seeley with a 58.2 and 10th.
I expected a little more speed out of the number 3, but hey, it's just practice. And here comes Lurch.
It's the 2. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the 377 Rockstar Factory Husqvarna rider of Christophe Pourcel. Christophe, we had an opportunity to talk the last couple weeks, and you know, coming back after 5 years off from Supercross, putting down those good qualifying times, now it's time to put it together in the main event.
Yeah, for sure. Every weekend, you know, we talk, and I'm here to improve. You know, I learned a lot last weekend, and you know, I just checking out the track, and I think the track's pretty good, technical tonight, so I think it should be a good night.
You know, you've even stated, I've read a couple articles about you saying about 5 races in, I think I'm going to have my feet wet enough that I'm going to be able to make a run towards the top of the podium.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's been 5 years, so it's a long time. It's only been 2 races, so I just need to get back into it. You know, 20 lap is a long motor, so you know, I just gotta stay behind those guys, learn, and just improve every weekend.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the 377 Rockstar Factory Husqvarna rider. Anytime he throws a leg over the bike, it is style and precision.
And there you hear it from Christophe,
for it.
the fastest guy in the first 458 qualifying session. And that leads us to our second Rocky Mountain ATV insider, fantasy insider.
Well, where do you put a guy like Christophe Pourcel? I mean, do you put him in maybe your you know, wild card, you know, maybe he's going to get a 9th or something like that. I don't know, but I mean, you saw at the end there as we're watching the 450B qualifying session out there right now, but that's Alex Ray, number 314 right there. You know, you saw Trey Kennard jump up there, and we haven't seen that happen in a while.
Saw Davey Millsaps, a guy you might want to consider.
And I mean, you look at that. Davey's won here before at Anaheim, but you know, and then you get a guy like Eli Tomac sitting down 11th. I saw Seeley up on the chart there, and they had his number, but Seeley was 10th in the points. So I mean, in the qualifying position. So we'll have to see that second session to see, you know, how that plays out for Seeley, if he can jump up there a little bit. But, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, it's qualifying, and, yeah, you can get a little bit of a sense of where the guys are. But when that gate drops in that main event, you know, we could see 3 different winners, you know, on the podium, 3 different guys who've never been on the brink. That's how deep the field is.
Right. It's deep field. Got a lot coming up in the show. We're going to have Ronnie Stewart join us here in a little bit. A lot more guests. Stay tuned.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
Get ready for RM Fantasy SX, the ultimate Monster Energy Supercross Fantasy Challenge from RockyMountainATVMC.com. We're giving away over $100,000 in prizes, and it's completely free to enter. Top season prizes include a brand new 2016 Toyota Tacoma, round-trip tickets with hotel to fly you and a guest to Rocky Mountain ATVMC to pick up your brand new customized FMF, KX450F, or KX250F. There's also a VIP trip for 2 to see the 2016 Monster Energy Cup in Las Vegas. 4th through 10th place season winners will be awarded prizes from Pirelli, GGR, Dunlop, Alpine Stars, DC, and others. Weekly prizes will be awarded from major brands. Just sign up on our secure game site, make your picks, and even get into group play to get your game on. And for more details, sign up today at rmfantasysx.com. For ages 18 and older.
Supercross Championship in 2015.
I just woke up one day and it clicked, and I'm like, I'm not just gonna be someone that rode a dirt bike and that tried. I'm gonna become the best. To be the best, it takes sacrifice, it takes a dream and a drive.
Striving to be the best, it's super critical to have a strong team behind you and a strong motorcycle. Being the best is everything, you know, that's what you want. It's where you want to be.
It all just comes down to how much passion you have for the sport.
Bike is everything to be the best.
Never give up, chase your dream, and if you work hard now and you sacrifice and you do what you're supposed to do, you can live the rest of your life as a champion.
The Yamaha champion YZ450F and multi-champion YZ250F.
Rainbow Studios. Are you ready for more? MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore. The off-road legend returns with the next generation of graphics. Set yourself up with all new gear and bikes. Tear up the track in outdoor nationals and waypoint races. Meet up and explore in freeride. And for the first time ever, rhythm racing. Available now.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
Hey there, this is Jamie Little with Fox Sports. You're watching Race Day Live.
And we're back in Angel Stadium. The 450B group is on the track right now.
A couple guys getting into it there in that sand section. You know, it's interesting to watch some of the B guys as we get a chance. I can't see who that Suzuki rider is there, what number it is, but you know, a big difference, you know, between the A group and the B group to go out there and you know, run your qualifying session.
As you're watching Teddy Parks, number 247.
That is Teddy. That is Teddy. Good to see him.
Looking good on his Suzuki. Alex Ray at the top, though, followed by Jeff Alessi, Bryce Stewart, Michael Akaden, and Alexander Nagy. That's your top 5 in 450B qualifying number 1.
Well, Paul Lindsay gave me a text. He said Reedy, back in the early 2000s, strung together, I believe, 22 podiums.
22 podiums.
Yeah. Good to see Teddy Parks out there, though. Let's see what kind of lap times they're doing. A 101 for Alex Ray right now.
That's
Jeff
pretty
Alessi
good.
And Bryce Stewart with a 103.3 sitting in that third there. But Teddy Parks in that 8th. He's on the move, though, on that Suzuki with a 106.8 for Teddy Parks.
As we see the whoop speed here, this he's going to pull out.
Yeah.
One thing about those, if you're going to go into those, you got to commit. You got to come through the sand section fast, carrying a lot of momentum, and just kind of send it.
Well, and I think he's getting an opportunity when he goes around like that just to kind of look at him. You got to remember, you can't stop him, but he just opted to go around. And, you know, I don't think the AMA is not looking at us. We see about 2:39 left in this Group B first qualifying session.
Number 120.
Todd Bannister out there, 120. We're getting a chance to look at.
Absolutely.
Come on, Todd, pick it up. He's kind of looking down. I'm not sure if he's got a mechanical. He looks like he's going to pull in and talk to his mechanic. We'll see. He was looking down on the right side there as we're looking at Alex Ray right now. I know Alex, you know, made a few main events last year, has yet to get that number 314 into the main event this year in 2016. But I look for big things.
Like
Alex Ray,
he
maybe
seemed fired up down there on track walk.
I think he was just fired up to talk to Mayra.
Number 282, Theodore Pauly.
Yeah. A 107.6 for Theodore.
He's in 11th place.
One
We
of the
got a guy
riders
down. Yeah.
Looks okay. That might be Alex Ray.
That is Alex Ray.
Alex Ray. He was pushing it a little bit. He heard us. He lost his mindset. He was thinking of Mayra.
That was right there at the end of the whoops. And once again, we're in Angel Stadium, round 3 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. We want to thank everybody for joining us, especially our international viewers, everybody in the UK, Australia, Canada, all over the world watching us here today, Jim. So we also have a very special guest, Stefan Rone from MX vs. ATV Unleashed. Welcome to the show again, man.
Hey guys.
Hey, what do we got in store for us? I mean, I was talking to you off camera there, and Michael was on the show last weekend in Petco Park, and you said I'm in trouble. And I said, well, I should hope so. He helped you design the game and everything, and I'm just a beginner, Stefan. You're going to have to give me some pointers.
No, I'm not going to give you any pointers.
No?
I want to win.
Okay, all right.
So you're going to have to, you're going to have to go out there and practice.
Okay. Can I get there
Just
a little
like
early?
these guys? Yeah, you can get there early.
Okay. Do they have a riding coach for me? Maybe, with the controller? Do you have that down there? Someone can help me?
Okay, I'll help you out a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
All right.
So how about your fellow countryman there, Christophe Pourcel, going out and being the fastest qualifier again? He's done that 3 times this year in the individual segments. Does that surprise you?
No, Christophe's is a really fast guy. I mean, he's proven it before that he can ride with the best of them. Now what he needs to do is put 20 solid laps out there because I think that's been his biggest problem. Getting a good start and putting in 20 solid laps. And we all know that's really hard to do.
Well, and you got to remember also too that when you're talking about a guy like Christophe Pourcel, he's won races before in the 250 and championships and stuff. That was 5 years ago, and that was only 15 laps. That extra 5 laps on a 450 is a big difference.
You're telling me. It was a big difference for me back then, that's for sure.
Checker flag's out in 450B qualifying number 1, guys. Alex Ray to the top. Been at the top the whole session, followed by Jeff Alessi, Devin Raper, Bryce Stewart, and Michael Caden is your top 5 in 450B qualifying number 1. But sorry to interrupt you guys there. Just had to go through the rundown there.
We're having a good moment. You got to give these guys, Alex Ray and the guys out there, as we're getting a chance now to look at the Group B just kind of finishing up there. And we'll get them out there. But the other thing I wanted to ask Stefan is, we really don't see him, in the first 4 or 5 laps. We're kind of looking around for him. I don't see him on the screen. Then, boom, all of a sudden he jumps to the top.
I kind of used to do the same thing, too, when I was racing back in the days. I didn't like to go out the first few laps wide open. I like to just kind of take my time and try to do the best laps towards the end. And, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, especially if the track changes a lot. But I know that was my style back then, and I know a lot of French riders kind of like to do that, I guess.
Right, and then put in a hot lap, which is what we're going to do right now, Stefan. So go ahead and take us around the hot lap here.
So this is a hot lap on one of the new tracks I designed for the DLC contents that we have. As you can see, it has a pretty dirty sand section and a big sand wall. So you guys talked about sand and mud, a few weeks back, and this track has 2 sand sections.
Booter.
Yep.
Wow, close to that tough block there.
Yeah, pretty close there.
This is a cool track.
Yeah, so it's got a pretty tough chicane coming up here, and dragging back. Woody.
Looks a little hard packed too out there, Stefan.
Yeah, it's got those shiny hard packed roads, when the dirt is kind of like nice and soft, but that kind of like goes away and it gets really hard packed underneath. This is kind of what this track is like. It's got some really good loamy dirt, but on the main line it's pretty hard packed and slippery.
Well, also I got to thank you guys for hooking us up with the Kawasaki track map. We don't have the Aero no more. You guys
got a cool bike.
We got a cool bike and everything. And that makes it really neat to go around and do that when we do the Kawasaki track map.
Yeah, it sure beats the Aero, doesn't it? I mean, Mike does an amazing job with those maps, and they look great. And with MX ATV being our own, we're open to a lot of possibilities.
It's been very well received. Yeah. Here comes the checkered flag. Bam.
Badass flip at the end. There you go.
That was that GoPro
Nice.
footage you had on there when the guy twisted.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking us for a lap around that track. That was really awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
You know, not to get away from that too much because that's what we're here for, but I've always wanted to ask you, you raced one of the craziest, fastest guys of all time for a championship, Travis Pastrana.
Oh, yeah, good old Travis.
What was that like?
I tell you, it was awesome racing Travis. And
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that because, you know, I want to be nice.
Right.
But it was the good old days back then. And,
Right.
and Travis and I were really good friends off the track.
Mhm.
And it was really nice because on the track, we could race each other really hard, even broke past each other and bang bars and stuff. But we knew that was racing.
Yeah.
And off the track, afterwards, we would laugh about it. And
You guys
talk
would
about
joke
it.
around.
Yeah, it was
on
really
the back
cool.
of your chest protectors and stuff. And
Yeah, like I was wearing his sticker on my back, and he
Yeah.
wore my sticker on his back, and it was really cool to race against someone like Travis because he does take it very seriously, but he doesn't take himself too seriously.
Yeah.
And that's what I really enjoyed, you know, racing with him because it was fun. It was great
Yeah.
time.
What else is fun is this video game. You know, thank you for our copies. I've been practicing all week long because I think me and Jim are going to race next week.
Yeah.
And I got bad news for him. He's going down. I think.
Oh, you're going down.
I found the flow. So.
I saw it in his eyes,
Yeah.
right there.
You know, I already booked my ticket, and I'm flying in 3 days early. I'm going to hang out with Stefan at his house 24/7. I'm going to mirror this guy.
You know what? Now that you say you're going down, I'm going to help you.
See, that's the kind of guy Stefan is. See,
Right.
he's going to help me out now.
Well, MX versus ATV Supercross Encore is available at GameStop and Walmart everywhere. It's all available for PlayStation 4. Get yours today. We're going to have some word from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
Amsoil. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck. Back here in Angel Stadium, there's the little guys.
Yeah, this is, you know, they were there last week. They made their debut in 2016 at Petco Park, put on a fabulous show for the fans down there in San Diego. And they're going to put on a great show here tonight, round 3 here at Angel Stadium here. And one of the competitors out there,
Ryder Lawrence,
Randy Lawrence's son and nephew to Phil Lawrence, Factory Phil Lawrence, when he was riding for Suzuki. So I know Phil's going to be up in the stands watching.
Yeah, Ryder's actually going to be joining the Nitro Circus. He jumps the mega ramp on his little bitty miniature BMX bike. So fearless, and you know, I talked to RL down there on Track Walk, and he said it's only been a couple months since he's been on the motorcycle, but really likes it. Came natural, so he's pretty fired up for tonight. It's a big night for the Lawrence family. All right, and joining us right now on Race Day Live is Ronnie Stewart. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, Ronnie.
Yeah, bummer to see you show up in this fashion. We wish you were watching you come off with the fastest 450B qualifying, but got a little injury here.
Yeah, unfortunately, in preseason training, everything was going awesome, but I had a chain break through a rhythm and sent me over the bars, and you know, this is what happened. So.
But correct me if I'm wrong. I talked to your dad last week in San Diego. That was the second chain you broke that day. Or was that other chain earlier?
Yeah, it was really odd. I went out there on my first lap. I was going through the whoops at 80% speed, and I broke a chain just out of nowhere, and it broke in 2 places, something that I've never seen before. And then we checked everything, and I figured that the odds of breaking another chain was pretty rare.
Yeah.
So I felt comfortable with going back out there, and I put a few more motos in and some starts, and towards the end of the day, it happened again. So don't really know what it was, but I guess it just something that happens.
Well, let's talk about the good times. You know, one of the coolest things I thought about the series last year was at MetLife Stadium. A whole sea of yellow is up there in the grandstands, and you go out there, and I know you're thinking about it, and you have to perform. You have to put it in the main event, and you do.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. Every time I went through that section, I couldn't even hear my bike.
The track was ruddy. It was gnarly.
Yeah. So there was a lot of emotions going on, and I was really happy that I was able to seal the deal and get in the main event. It was something that's definitely a memorable experience for me.
Well, I wanted to ask you something else that was memorable. That was a day race. How did you like riding Supercross in the daytime?
I personally like it a lot more. I'm more of a day person. I like to go to sleep early and wake up early. So just for me physically and mentally, it's actually works in my favor to be racing during the day.
Right. And you talk about racing. Any chance that we can see you back here this year in Supercross? I know your dad said, yeah, maybe possibly might be able to make Foxborough and maybe MetLife again, but it's too early to tell, right?
It's too early to tell. I go back to Tallahassee on Monday morning to get my external fixator and 4 screws, pins that I have in. I get that out on Tuesday, and then from there we'll have more of a timeline of when I'll be able to start riding again, and then, of course, from there we'll see how I'm feeling. But I'm pretty confident you'll see me at the tail end of the series.
Right. Talk about the role that you're playing now. I mean, I know your teammate Vicky Golden, she's going to be starting up in a few weeks when we head back to Atlanta to the Georgia Dome. Have you moved into more of a coaching and trying to help her pick up her times a little bit?
Absolutely. Teaching has always been a passion of mine. It's how I pretty much started before I started racing professionally. So it's really great to have Vicky on the East Coast. She just started riding this week, Supercross, so it's going to be fun to see her progress. She has a lot of passion, and she's overcome a lot of adversity through the years, so we're really happy to be a part of her racing efforts. And then, of course, here on the West Coast, we have Alex Nagy filling in for my position, so that's exciting as well.
You know, Ryan, it's just cool to be standing here talking to you. I remember back in 2010, I was able to ride with you when you were training and coming up and on the journey. I want you to talk about the journey. You know, at the end of 2014, you were making every main event. 2015, it was a little tougher. Now you have another setback, but I can see by the look in your eyes, you're going to be back. It looks like you're still having fun. How is it?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it was a battle coming up through the ranks. You know, the sport has a lot of difficulties financially with injuries. So it's really hard to manage yourself and manage everybody else, so you're in a position to succeed. And in 2014, I was able to put all the pieces together. It was really good to see that happen. And then I've had more adversity happen in 15 and now. But I put a lot of effort into riding. I have a lot of passion, and just being able to step outside the box a little bit and watch from the sidelines, I'm even more confident that I put actually more effort than a lot of people out there. So I'm excited to get back to racing, and I'm confident that I have the best is yet to come for me results-wise.
And I'm a big Ronnie Stewart fan. I remember that night when you made your first main. It was the Lucas Oil Dome, and how excited you were. And then I remember when we went to Detroit, your sister, she was in Afghanistan. She came over and she surprised you. And before you went up to that main event, I said, hey, man, your sister's up there, man. Go out there and put this thing in the top 15 for her. And, you put in a great ride that night in Detroit. And it just kind of, once you knew you belonged there, it just kind of rolled, and you were in every main event after that.
Yep, absolutely. It's a cool story. It's a story that we're trying to pass on to the riders that we have representing us, and just pass on the story to all the up-and-comers. If you're not a superstar at the age of 16, it doesn't mean that you can't get in there and keep progressing and make a name for yourself at some point.
Tell them in the camera there. Look right into that camera and tell those guys out there, that, hey, you know what? This is the way Ronnie Stewart did it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. If you keep persevering and keep trying your best, it's just a matter of time to when you can put all the pieces together and make it happen for yourself.
Something else you're putting together, but you're going to get married here.
Yeah, that's something exciting
big.
too. So, I'm excited to get the ball rolling in a more positive direction. And at the this year and at the end of the season, I'll be getting married to my beautiful fiance, Brooke Madruga.
Now, how did you propose to her, or did you propose to her? Maybe I blew it already.
So we went to a race in France for an outdoor race, and it was interesting because we, of course, have Paris there. And after the race, I took her to Paris, and proposed to her in front of the Eiffel Tower, and we had a beautiful sunset, and followed up with a dinner cruise. So I definitely had some brownie points for that trip, that's for sure.
No,
awesome.
I knew he proposed. I wasn't going to blow anything for you because I talked to your mom and stuff, and I said, hey, he's going to, oh, that's cool, man. If he comes on the show, we're going to, we'll put him under the spotlight.
Yeah.
Cool, Ronnie. Well, thank you for joining us. You're one of the good guys. You're a hard worker. Got a good home team. Congratulations on getting engaged. We have a segment coming up with Tyler Bereman in DC Shoes. It's really cool. Check it out.
Jim Holley, Race Day Live, presented by Amsoil. Well, I'm here at the DC Shoes display, and I'm here with DC's own free rider, Tyler Bereman. But I hear guys call you Bereman.
Yeah, I know. They toss it back and forth, but it's pronounced Bereman, but I'll go with whatever they call me. I grew up and everybody called me Bereman in school, so everyone used to call me T-Beer, and I just kind of roll with the punches. Whatever they call me, it is what it is.
All right, T-Beer. Now, I've heard your name before in Supercross. I know you've made some main events and things like that. Unfortunately, you had some injuries. You said, look, it's time to move on. And it seems like when I watch your videos and when you're out with McGrath and Stewart and Kennard and everybody, Robbie Madison and Adam C. and Cirillo and all the guys, it seems like you're enjoying yourself when you're riding now.
Yeah, it's awesome to have a company like DC Shoes behind me that backs my goals and, just my vision and everything I wanted to do. And unfortunately, the last few years I haven't been able to race because of injuries, but, I'm a racer. I grew up racing my whole life, amateur motocross, and, I grew up trail riding and free riding as well. So I still want to race. I'm actually racing East Coast Supercross this year just because I want to do it to fulfill my own, myself. So other than that, I free ride every chance I get. I love being in front of a camera. I love, having fun in the hills with my friends and finding jumps. And that's why I like Supercross. I like to jump. So just wipes my head clean when I get out there and just get to go out there and have some fun and it's a good time out there. It's, like I said, it's cool for companies like DC to support that because it's pretty crazy to be able to wake up and just have fun and ride your dirt bike.
I got to ask you, I saw some of those videos, Zach Station, Castillo Ranch and everything, and Jeremy McGrath's ranch, that rounded pipe ramp thing. That was some amazing footage you guys put up. And I noticed, Jeremy's behind you and everything. It's got to be pretty cool to ride with the 7-time Supercross champion and just enjoying it.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, obviously DC has one of the best lineups of team, and it's pretty surreal, to get to go out and ride with the heroes that I've grown up looking up to my whole life, especially MC and Villapoto and all these guys, and it's cool to get to go to MC's ranch and be able to ride with those dudes. It's pretty surreal. So we all get out there and have some fun. And, it's cool that they can take somebody like me and just kid that has fun and just likes to be in front of a camera and not necessarily be the #1 guy out there racing, but it's dirt bikes is more than that. So it's cool to be a part of it and just ride with all my heroes. It's cool.
I mean, you have a lot of shoes on display. I see the new Lynx Light here, and they kind of give you these, and you kind of test them out for them and say, hey, I think we need to change this or that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that they actually make some new shoes. The Lynx Light and the Heathrow that I'm wearing down here is actually really, really comfortable shoe, and it's cool that they can put me in some of their new stuff, and I can give them feedback and what I like, what I don't like, colorways, whatever. And it's cool just to have some input on what you're going to be wearing, because obviously if you're representing the company and they're wanting you to wear their stuff, you want to wear what you want to wear and what you think would look good. So it's cool to have a company like that'll take your input and really run with it. So and it's cool. You see all the fans come and get to interact, see all the shoes and see all the bikes and all the riders, and it's cool. So come on by and check out the DC rig today. I think we got a signing from 3 to 3:30, I believe. We got James, Adam, Nate Adams, McGrath. I think that's it. So yeah.
And yourself, T-Beer.
TB. I'll just roll with TB.
Amsoil. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
Getting out in front on the racetrack or on the trail requires every performance edge you can get. Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil is formulated to maximize horsepower. Its synthetic base oils reduce energy loss to friction, meaning your engine works less to deliver more power to the ground, helping you get out front and stay out front. Amsoil synthetic dirt bike oil. Out front performance.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute invites you to text SX to 82257. Enter for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4 LE. Again, text SX to 82257 for your chance to win this 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4 LE.
Everything you thought you knew about off-road vehicles is about to be redefined. Introducing the world's first and only pure sport side-by-side, the all-new YXZ 1000R from Yamaha. With a high-performance 3-cylinder engine, 5-speed sequential shifting, and long-travel Fox suspension, the world of off-road sports side-by-sides has shifted forever.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
Hi, I'm Trey Kennard with Team Honda HRC, and you're watching Race Day Live.
And welcome everybody back to Angel Stadium here in sunny Anaheim, California. It's round 3 of the 2016 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. I'm Andy Bowyer. I'm joined with Jim Holley and Mayra Tinajero. Mayra, you'd been down in the pits, and I understand you got a report on Dean Wilson.
Yeah, so after that crash during practice, he swung by the Asterix medical unit to get checked out. So, hopefully he's going to be all good, for safety first. He stopped by there to get checked out.
Right. And so far, Joey Savatgy was the fastest in the first 250A. Jason Anderson's been fast in the 450A. A couple of surprises. Eli Tomac, a little bit off the pace.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really a surprise to see Christophe Pourcel, in that qualifying session. As we want to welcome everybody here in Angel Stadium. We're on the Jumbotron now, and hope they're enjoying the weather. It looks like the rain's going to hold off, and we're going to have a great night of racing here. But I think that a lot of people expect Christophe Pourcel to be fast. And like Stefan Rone said when he was on here, that he's got to put together 20 main event laps, and he's got to break into that top. And I think when Christophe Pourcel is ready to do that, we'll see him do that.
Yeah, but fastest? I'm a little surprised. I know he's done it 3 weeks in a row, but every time we were just talking about it back and forth, we were like, where's Christophe? He's not even in the top 15.
Yeah, and then he comes up with the fastest lap time. That's pretty good coming out of the dark with that.
Another guy that's been fast today in the early going is Davey Millsaps, number 18 on the BTO Sports KTM. A guy that's a former race winner, challenged for the championship in 2000. There you are. Wave to the jumbotron. You're on the big one.
You're on Race Day Live.
That's right. Like I was saying, Millsaps is a guy that has potential to win events.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten on the podium just yet this season, but he's on the hunt.
Right.
You can see it out there.
Right. Saw some guys go down. Track's tough. Got 2 long whoop sections. One of them is bigger than the other. 2 very big rhythm sections that go from foul pole to foul pole. They're out there working on them right now. And if you're on track walk, you can tell for yourself, as we're seeing, it's tough.
Well, and I think that most people in the stands and what they've seen in the qualifying session, that first turn, that's going to be tough when the guys run it down into there. It's a right-hander, and then immediately after that timing section like you talked about, foul pole, the home plate, and the third base side down there. I mean, I think that's going to be a critical key point, because if you can rail that outside and carry that momentum off the start and do a few of those sections, it's going to give you a little bit of a breathing room.
Right. Yeah, and we want to, if you guys are tweeting and using Instagram, SX on Fox, it's Babies on Bikes. That's the hashtag here today. Speaking of that, had a little rival this week.
Yeah. There she is, right there. Andy, a proud papa for the second time.
Yeah, just amazing. It's been an outstanding week.
When's she going to be on a bike, though?
I don't think so.
The hashtag is Baby on Bikes. I think she's ready when you go back home.
Next week we go to see a picture of her.
Yeah, on the motorcycle. Just set her up on a bike.
Maybe tuck her into your helmet.
Nah, we can do that. We can tuck her into the helmet, but I think it's gonna be dancing shoes and gymnastics for her. So, or whatever she wants to do. We'll see.
Yeah, you never know. She might come out, a tough little girl.
Right. And once again, it's Babies on Bikes. If you guys are tweeting to us, Supercross Live and SX on Fox, go ahead and do that. But we have a lot more things coming up. We have more exciting guests. We have the 450A and 250A qualifying number 2 coming up. Any predictions, guys? Who do you think is going to take the second round?
Second round, I really wanted to see Eli Tomac do better than he did the first round. Unfortunately, he had some trouble out there, so hopefully he does come back and have a little bit better mojo going into the second round. But I mean, I'm going to put Dungey.
Right.
I think Dungey's going to do well. Kennard was looking pretty good, so we know he's got speed. Now he just needs to put it into the main event.
Well, like we said, we have some more guests coming up. We have a segment coming up here. MMI Top Tech Mechanic, Cooper Webb's mechanic, Eric Gass. Let's hear what he had to say. Andy Bowyer, Race Day Live, presented by Amsoil. We're here with this week's MMI Top Tech Mechanic, Eric Gass. 2 wins in a row for Cooper Webb. What's it like wrenching on the bike that's got the red plate on it?
There's a lot of stress involved, I suppose, but we got a great team backing us, great sponsorship from Yamaha and all the other guys. But once that gate drops, the pressure kind of goes away, and we just focus on him riding like we would any other day at the practice track. And as you can see, he makes it happen. So we're definitely putting in our work, and it's showing. And yeah.
Obviously, you'd like to see him get a little bit better starts, and you have a device on the bike that's supposed to help you guys get that with the Get Ignition. Tell us a little bit about that on your bike.
Well, I can't go into too much detail, but yeah, it is designed to help the riders overcome the loud noises and stuff on the starting line and be able to be very consistent with their starting procedure. However, Coop got a pretty bad gate pick in the main event due to getting 4th in heat race, and I don't know. I think the rut after the gate kind of screwed us, but he made the best of it.
Right. Well, you're 2 for 2 with Cooper Webb. Eric Gass, this week's MMI Top Tech Mechanic. And we're back here in Angel Stadium. We've got a very special guest from Legends and Heroes. We're honoring him tonight, Mr. Mike Kiedrowski. Welcome to Race Day Live.
Thank you.
Good to see you,
Jim.
Mike. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, it has.
20 years ago, you were mired in one of the deepest fields we ever saw in history, and you were racing a guy named Jeremy McGrath. You have 5 Supercross victories, but you kind of got to think, man, what if he wasn't around? How many you could have won? But more to that, what was it like racing against the king of Supercross?
Well, I mean, I was actually, Jeremy was a little bit after me. I started Supercross maybe a few years before him, so I was battling with Stanton, Jean-Michel Bell, Wardy was there. We had 8 or 10 guys that could win, kind of like it is now.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy came on the scene, and he was just blowing the doors off us. So a couple guys retired and stuff. So, Jeremy was awesome at Supercross.
Right.
And that's where he really strived. Outdoors, it took him a little while to finally capture that and get a couple championships there. So, but it was awesome riding with him.
Yeah, 5 Supercross victories, though. You have to have some outstanding memories. Does one stick out more than the other?
Well, yeah,
Daytona.
3 Daytonas. 3 of the 5. I think of Seattle and maybe Pontiac, Michigan, I think, were the other 2. So Daytona just suited me right. I think at the time, Wardy had been there quite a bit and done really well. So our bike setup, the mechanics, the team really know how to set the bike up. And we'd go to Daytona. We had a good setup. And I knew what it took to win after the first time. So I just kept doing the same thing, going the same practice tracks and doing everything the same. And it worked out 3 years in a row.
Mike, I got to ask you, you know, Alex Moros with the Legend and Heroes Tour, I mean, he's preserving the sport of Supercross, you know, where the bikes are. It's a very nice display. And he honors different guys each and every weekend and stuff. But talk a little bit about how it's changed in the pits from when you rode. I mean, I know it's changed considerably since when I rode, but even from when you rode, it's a whole different element out there now.
Oh, exactly. Like when I started out, we were all in box vans and everything, and then I was with Team Kawasaki, and we got the first semi. And, you know, it was hard to get it in the pits and making arrangements for all that. And then now you see the pits, everyone has a semi. If you don't have a semi, you're not really a top rider, you know. Amateurs that are just coming up on teams have semis now. So it's gotten a lot bigger. And then with the 4 strokes, a lot more horsepower. These guys are phenomenal on the bikes. What they're jumping, everything, it's just crazy. I love watching it.
You got a chance to look at the track and watch some of those qualifying sessions. You know, this one here a little bit unique. They're going to run it down in the first turn. It's a right-hander. As soon as you're done braking, you put your foot out. That's it. I mean, you're going to have to run it in.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had some of those that are right-handers, and it's very difficult as a rider. I think we're going to maybe see a lot of guys pushing real wide. Maybe some guys going off the track. So that's why we most of the time do lefts, because it's a little bit more controllable. So it'll be interesting.
You can relate to all these guys, but one thing I think you can relate to, I remember an instance at Redbud with you and your teammate, a little bit of a fight there. What'd you think about the fight at the season opener?
I think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's great for the sport, you know. I mean, you know, NASCAR had it, and then you know, Bristol, Tennessee, everybody's banging in NASCAR. Those were great races to watch. Unfortunately, you know, we don't really care for that much fighting. Maybe there's a couple more throws than what I did before. But, you know, that's racing, and we all get excited. We work hard during the year and the week, and you come there and you're trying to do your best, and things sometimes get out of hand. You know, it's just racing, I think.
What are you doing nowadays? I know you're married, your lovely wife's there, and your daughter and everything, but what are you doing now?
Yeah, now I'm actually doing construction, so all commercial construction, superintendent, and I've been doing that for about 2.5 years now. So.
I know Robert Kelly, you were trying to get into the electrical part of things, and then you went back to racing. You got with Mike Webb and said, hey, I want to do some off-road. I'm really not done racing yet. I'm done with Supercross and outdoor, but I'd like to try this off-road stuff, and you're successful there.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out. I got with Mike Webb, and it was, you know, developed this DRZ 400 and started doing that for the year, and it was only a 1-year deal, and then 7 years later, I'm still racing for Suzuki and doing all the GNCCs. I got a couple works titles, went to 6 days, got a gold medal. You know, I went from motocross to working on my own bike in 6 days. That's a big change, you know. So learned a lot, had great teammates, Rodney Smith, Steve Hatch, and learned a lot. My wife and daughter got to go to a lot of the races, almost every single one. So it was great watching my daughter grow up, and had a lot of fun.
Are you mesmerized? I mean, because when I still come here, I mean, I've been around. I'm 55 now, but when I come here and I see some of these guys doing some of these sections, I know you got to look at it and go, I don't think they can do that. And then all of a sudden they pull it off like it's just easy. Like I'm going, unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying, the 4 strokes compared to the 2 strokes. I mean, when I was on a 2-stroke, I was second gear pinned. If I wasn't pinned for the triple, I wasn't going to make it. Or if I had a little bit of tire spin. And now these guys come up to it, and I'm going, he's just going to double the triple, and he's over it. And I'm like, wow. You know, so, yeah, it's amazing. And like I said, the stuff they're jumping is just crazy.
You still getting a chance to ride a little bit with some of those construction buddies?
Yeah, I go out to the desert. We go camping and Thanksgiving and all that and ride with friends. But I'm not too much track stuff anymore. I cut that out about 5-6 years ago. And now I just go out in the trails, the hills, and stuff like that.
Well, there's a lot of history. You've been involved with this sport for a long time. Tonight you're getting honored with Legends and Heroes. We have a special segment. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
When it started, they were just kids. The very first Supercross race, the 1972 Super Bowl of Motocross at the Los Angeles Coliseum, was won by a
For over 30 years, Rocky Mountain ATV MC has worked hard to become your premier destination for OEM and aftermarket parts. apparel, and accessories. Starting out with one person in a small one-room facility, the founder and his team have grown Rocky Mountain ATV MC into your one-stop shopping destination for power sport enthusiasts throughout the world. We sell the parts and accessories you need. We sell them at a low price and get them to your door quickly. So go to our cutting-edge, easy-to-use website to get the parts and accessories you need. At Rocky Mountain ATV MC, we take processing your order seriously. Every order that comes through our state-of-the-art warehouses is processed with care, speed, and accuracy. Our multiple locations and efficient team ensure your order is shipped correctly and arrives at your door quickly. We offer free shipping on orders over $99, and when ordering apparel, if it doesn't fit right, you'll get free shipping on the first exchange. We want to make sure your shopping experience with us is a good one and risk-free. With Rocky Mountain ATV MC, you're not just another number, you're a valued fellow rider. As riders ourselves, we understand that getting your parts before the next race or for the next weekend ride is crucial. We've made it our goal to support you riders, and we're proud to be involved as a sponsor with the largest racing series in the nation for both amateur and professional racing. Try us out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
When it started, they were just kids. The very first Supercross race, the 1972 Super Bowl of Motocross at the Los Angeles Coliseum, was won by a 16-year-old named Marty Trice. In an instant, the sport of motocross, invented in Europe, imported to America, had been transformed completely. Supercross was an American invention, and American racers were about to take flight. That first race led to a full Supercross series, with stars like Pierre Karsmakers, Jimmy Ellis, and Jem and Jimmy Wiener. But for Supercross to rocket to the stratosphere, it needed a superstar, and one was coming, with hurricane force. Bob Hurricane Hanna shocked the world with a no-holds-barred attitude and 3 straight Supercross championships from 1977 through 1979. Then, a freak water skiing accident left Hanna with a shattered leg, just as a new decade dawned. In came the super training era, perhaps the most competitive in the history of Supercross. Stars like Mike Too Tall Bell, Mark the Bomber Barnett, the O-Show Johnny O'Mara, Ron the Machine Lachine, Donnie Holeshot Hansen, and David the Little Professor Bailey traded paint each week. The riders were stronger, the tracks gnarlier, the bikes better, the sport nearly unrecognizable from where it was a decade earlier. Then, Ricky Johnson and Jeff Ward formed the next great rivalry, with Johnson driving the sport as a media and spotlight-ready superstar, until an injury ended his run while on top in 1989. By now, Supercross, once dominated by Californians, had branched out. Jeff Stanton, a hard-working farmer from Michigan, battled a French interloper named Jean-Michel Bayle. Few believed a foreign rider could succeed at this American game, but Bayle was a special talent. Soon, though, came the most impressive talent of all. Jeremy McGrath was nicknamed Showtime even as an amateur, and his new age style took the sport to new heights once he turned pro. He would retire as the all-time leader in Supercross titles and race wins, now known simply as the King of Supercross. For McGrath's greatest rival, more domination only meant more determination. And Jeff Emig ended McGrath's attempt at the only perfect season in Supercross history with a late-season triumph in 1996. He bridged that confidence into the 1997 title, finally dethroning McGrath, and proving that a strong inner belief can help defy the odds. McGrath would answer back with 3 straight titles. It was going to take someone special to finally end his run for good. It was impossible to beat McGrath with skill, so Ricky Carmichael did it with grit, Carmichael overwhelmed the competition and then faced a series of challengers like Chad Reed, an Australian who grew up molding himself in the style of McGrath. And then came James Stewart, who broke down barriers with next-level speed and skill. The most recent Supercross champions are a pair of riders who let their results do the talking. The Ryans, Dungey and Villopoto, are sheer workhorses, and their efforts helped usher in the next era of the sport. Ryan Dungey shocked everyone to win the title as a rookie in 2010. And then Ryan Villopoto went on an amazing run, winning 4 straight titles from 2011 through 2014, all while facing down some of the stiffest competition Supercross had ever seen. Villopoto retired on top in 2015, and Dungey was right there again to fend off his younger challengers and score his second championship. The next generation, too, carries cues from the past, like Justin Barcia's Bob Hanna-like aggression, Eli Tomac's commitment, reminiscent of the super training era, and Ken Roczen carrying the flag for global representation. Times change, but many things in Supercross do not. They will all start out as kids, but some will leave as legends and heroes.
And there you saw it. That was pretty much Supercross history by legends and heroes. That's pretty cool. Bring back some memories, Mike.
It sure does. I can remember them, every single one of those.
Well, it's been great having you on the show, man.
Right.
Thanks a lot for coming and joining us. Congratulations on your awesome family and everything. I mean,
enjoy it tonight.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
thanks, guys.
have fun
you
tonight.
guys have a great show here.
All right, meanwhile, Mayra Tinajero has been down in the pits. Let's go see what she's been up to.
Mayra Tinajero with Race Day Live, presented by Amsoil. You know, guys, one of the most fantastic parts about coming to the Monster Energy Pit Party is getting the opportunity to meet, greet, get an autograph, and take a photo with your favorite rider. And you guys are trying to get an autograph from who?
Chad Reed. I've always came first in line, at least kind of close first in line, and always excited to get an autograph from him.
So you have multiple posters signed by Chad Reed.
I have about five or six.
I happen to find the 2 guys that are first in line at Red Bull KTM. Okay, guys, Joe and Joey, who are you wanting to get an autograph from?
Ryan Dungey.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Did you watch him last week?
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to do this week?
Win.
You know, one of the funnest parts about coming to the Monster Energy Pit Party is making your very own cheer card to have out during the race for your favorite guy out there. And I found some Supercross fans. We start them young around here, but they're here to make a cheer card for their very own favorite rider. Okay, guys, who's your pick?
Ken Roczen.
Alrighty, Ken Roczen, that's 1 for Ken. What about you?
Ken Roczen.
2 for Ken Roczen. All right, and what about you?
I think I'm going to have to go with Dungey.
Dungey, all right, so we got a 2-to-1 ratio here. These guys think it's going to be Ken, and this guy thinks it's going to be Dungey. Man, it's going to be on tonight.
And we have another very special guest joining us right now. I'm going to say very special because he's 7 feet tall, and if I don't say that...
I thought it was because I rode the short bus.
Oh, man, no. Mr. Ray Butts from Rocky Mountain ATV EMC here on Race Day Live. Thank you for joining us again. How's it going today?
It's going awesome. I mean, we're, checking out the track. It looks like it's getting a little tougher now. I know the first couple rounds they try and make it, fairly safe and get everybody kind of broke in and whatnot. And this is the first track. It looks like they're turning up the heat a little bit.
Well, the thing I want to ask you is off camera right there. We see your lovely family and your kids and everything. How are they enjoying the pits?
Oh, they think it's like their own playground out there. I think they've got every knick-knack and sign and license plate, everything they can make out there. They're building it. So,
well, speaking of building it, Rocky Mountain ATV EMC Fantasy League is growing huge every week.
Yeah.
And what you reminded me on Track Walk, people need to remember is you get to throw away
2 rounds.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you sign up today, you're still eligible for the Toyota Tacoma.
Oh, yeah.
The 450 race bike and
Yeah.
the 250 race bike.
Yeah. I mean, you're eligible the whole time. And if you have a few good weeks, I mean, you could drop more than, we just dropped the 2 lowest weeks. So if you're a little bit discouraged and think, oh, I didn't get in the first, I can't win well, yeah, you can. I mean, even if you have those 2 weeks with 0, that's the ones that'll drop off, and anything you make from here on out is going to count towards your score, and you can definitely, pull the championship.
Right. Let's talk wild cards. Let's talk about the guy that was fastest in the first 450 practice, Christophe Pourcel.
I know.
And can you believe that?
Where do you put him,
Would you rather pick Christophe Pourcel or Davey Millsaps as your wild card?
Well, since Davey's been right there every time, I mean, I hate to vote against him. I mean, he was my pick first week, I mean, no offense, Davey, but I was like, that's kind of where it looks like he's falling, and he was one off of wild card. Then last week he did get the wild card. So, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, Christophe's so fast, he can lay down such a fast lap, but then it seems like the end of the day he struggles a bit. So I don't know.
Where do you put a guy like Eli Tomac? I know he started out the season with a 4.4 so far, and any time he can break into that podium.
Definitely. I mean, and I think as the tracks get tougher, you're going to see him definitely do better. I mean, that guy's such a technical rider that I think you're going to see him come up the ranks definitely. You look at his lap times, and almost all the time in the last 15 laps is when he'll throw down his fastest lap. So he's got incredible conditioning. I mean, they all do. None of them are in poor conditioning, but it just seems like he's almost, unhuman with the amount of energy and ability he has late in the race. So.
Yeah, these guys are all inhuman, and we were just talking earlier, been some guys out, and your guy's out right now. Give us an update on our buddy, Kyle Chisholm.
Yeah, I got a text from Brittany last night. He just came out of surgery. We're looking, I don't know, probably 6-8 weeks to get fixed up, and then, then he's got to get in shape. So I'm pretty much Supercross season's out for him. I mean, I just don't see the need to come back and race the last race and risk busting yourself up. Just get in shape for outdoors, and we'll keep going from there.
Will you try to look at a privateer guy like an Alex Ray or somebody like that rides a Honda, maybe to step him up in?
We're talking to a few people right now to maybe step in for Supercross season, and hopefully we can find a nice fit and have somebody under our awning that'll we can help out.
Right. We're here to talk about fantasy. Here's how you play.
What's up, guys? Chase here at Rocky Mountain ATV-MC, and it is time for Fantasy Supercross. If you played Fantasy Supercross last year, the gameplay for this year is going to feel very similar. However, we have made some big changes to scoring that we think you guys are going to love. For 2016, we'll be giving away over $100,000 in prizes. Our grand prize will be the all-new 2016 Toyota Tacoma. We also have a brand new Race Prep KX450F and a KX250F for our first and second place winners. We have got a ton of other prizes that we're going to be giving away as well. We've also got weekly prizes for our top 10 winners. So if you get a late start to the season, it's not a big deal. You will still have plenty of chances to win. To start playing, simply go to www.rmfantasysx.com and create an account. RM Fantasy SX is fun, it is easy to play, and it makes Monster Energy Supercross even more exciting. So make sure you sign up and start today.
And there you have it. That's how you get signed up. That's how you play. And
yep.
Yeah, it's exciting. So I'm going to put you on the spot, man. It's about that time. Who's your top three?
Oh, my top three. I mean, definitely Dungey. I mean, that guy's rock solid. Like we were saying, Tomac, I'd like to see him get in the top three. And you know what? I'd like to see Chad pull it out again. I mean, 2 years ago at A2 when he won, this place was electric, So, kudos to that guy. I mean, he's still getting it done, and I'd love to see him up there.
I know one of the guys, Kurt Benke from Minnesota, he plays on the RM Fantasy Supercross, and he picks Dungey, and he thinks second is going to be the number 21 of Jason Anderson. He thinks on the podium is going to be Cole Seeley. So interesting, the interaction you have with that. I mean, God, what do you do? I mean, Reed looks so strong. Do you put him on the podium again? Although qualifying wasn't as good. Trey Kennard. When's Kenny Roxon going to get his first podium of 2016? And Trey Kennard, like I said, when's he going to get up there? I mean, anytime, any one of those guys can be a great pick. As we're getting
Here's
a chance
the top
to
picks
see.
right here.
Yeah, this is the average from all of our all the people that are playing right now. So we kind of average it up and say this is what everyone feels. So you can see, I mean, Dungey, Anderson, Reed on the podium. But yeah, I mean, the field is so deep this year, and there's so much potential that it any week can blow up your top five.
There's no Kenny Roxon. He's won at Anaheim twice. There's no Trey Kennard. There's no, Chad Reed's not on there, and we were just talking about him. He's tied for
Reed's in third.
Reed's in third. Chad Reed is on there. I'm just getting excited talking about that guy being tied in a 4-way tie with Ricky Carmichael, Jeremy McGrath, and James Stewart with 8 victories. Like you said, 2 years ago when he won this thing, what if he becomes the all-time leader and wins here tonight?
That would be so awesome. I mean, if he does, this place is going to blow up.
Absolutely. A lot of these guys are going to do well. Had some guys on the sidelines right now already, but look for a rookie like Marvin Muskin. He gets a good start. He could shake things up.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's rock solid. I mean, when he puts it together, that guy's glass out there. So, he's definitely going to get, he'll get his stuff together, and he's going to knock out some wins in his career. So, it could happen today.
Right. And another fantasy guy in the top 10 that's currently sitting 8th in points, Jake Weimer. He's really surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's turned it up. I don't know Jake that well, but, it's been fun to watch him. I mean, he's kind of close to us. He's an Idaho boy, so, the mountain guys kind of stick together. But yeah, it's been fun to watch him race this year. I mean, he's really turned it up a notch, I feel.
Right on. Well, Ray, thank you for joining us, man.
Thanks
it's always fun to have you on the show.
Rick.
Congratulations with the fantasy program. It's blowing up. Everybody's loving it. Stay tuned. We have more guests coming up, the 250A, the 450A. Here's some words from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Amsoil. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
And welcome back to Angel Stadium. We have another very special guest, 2-time Anaheim winner, David Pingree. Welcome to Race Day Live.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Now, those memories still got to be fresh. Winning in this place is so special. It's the mecca of Supercross. Can you remember exactly what it was like when you took the checkered flag?
Yeah, I do. It's funny. Someone reminded me this week. It's been 14 years since A2 in 2002 when I won my last race. And it does stick in my head just exactly how that race went down. And, I was in the later stages of my career at that point. And so I remember saying to myself, remember this, because that's a feeling that you may not ever get again. And I didn't. And I remember actually being along this third baseline and stopping and just soaking it in.
Yeah.
A crazy night. I started up front, made a mistake, went back to like 6th, worked my way forward. Guys were crashing, and I got into the lead, opened a little lead, and then Stewart was coming because he had slid out in the first turn, and he was just on fire that night. And I could hear him. I could hear the crowd cheering every time he passed somebody, and so I finally started spotting him, and he's closing in, and with like 2 laps to go, I thought, if I keep at this pace, he's going to catch me.
Right.
And it was really hard as a racer, Andy, to go, I'd done 13 laps at a pace, and now all of a sudden I've got to go faster.
Right.
It was very hard to do, and I did. I somehow made it happen. And
Well,
my
David,
lap times dropped a couple seconds, and I was able to hold on to it.
You made it happen. I mean, one of the coolest things about your story is your success after racing. Now you're a certified fireman. Talk about that process. That had to be a beast.
You know what? It was no different than coming out of high school and going to college or going to do something. This is my graduation from our academy at San Bernardino County Fire. So big night. I had to start volunteering, start learning the basics. I had to go to EMT school. I went to paramedic school. I went through a fire academy. I worked as a reserve, and then finally got picked up. I mean, it was a 5 to 6 year process.
Wow.
And of a lot of sacrifice, and that paramedic school was $10,000 that came out of my pocket. It was a year. I mean, it was some tough times. And
well, and the other thing too is you got a chance to come out here and you worked with the Asterix Mobile Medical. I saw you down on the floor, and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was great. As I was going to medic school, to go out and try to get experience somewhere is tough. And these guys were so good about letting me come out, and you work on your trauma triage and your trauma assessment and packaging and all that stuff that you really need to know. And it was a great way to get some experience in a setting that I understood and I was comfortable in.
Right on. You're most comfortable doing anything, it seems like. But being on track and winning races, how much do you miss it? I mean, now you have a lot of excitement being a fireman. You get to ride a lot, but right there, how much do you miss that right there?
Well, like I said, and that's probably on this straightaway right here, because I just stopped, I shut my bike off, and I just took it in for a while. And there's nothing that'll replace that feeling. You know, it's just so much hard work, and that's just the culmination of it, you know. But there came a point, you know, you get to a point in your age and whatever, you just got to look yourself in the mirror and go, okay, it's time to do something different, you know. So I had to go do something safer, like run into burning buildings. That's what I decided to do. I still ride quite a bit, as you can see. I do a lot of stuff with Racer X Illustrated, Racer X Online. We do a lot of bike testing. So I get my fix for riding. And you know, if I didn't ride, I'd probably be losing my mind. I mean, it's just, once it's in your blood, you know, it doesn't go out of it. You know what I mean? I've got to keep riding. But the racing part, when I watch guys come barreling into that first turn,
I'm okay now. We're doing that.
I don't really care about that so much anymore.
Into a right-handed first turn.
Yeah, and I see guys crash, and I'm just like, oh.
That hurts.
You know, when they get hurt, you know, a couple last weekend, your heart breaks for them, because you know
what they've gone through.
Everything they've put in to get in there, and then to see it just wiped out.
Well, and one of my memorable races that you were in, it was in Phoenix when you had a problem with the triple and the front end broke off and everything, and I'm going,
just
you don't miss those days, right?
No, you know, and that was actually a big turning point for me, because it should have probably set in earlier, but you realize at some point you can prepare, you can be diligent with your decision making, you can do all these things, but there's so much out of your control. And I was doing everything right. I was leading my heat, last lap of the race, and you know, a mechanical failure just took me down hard. You know what I mean? So in my head, that was a turning point for me, where I'm just like, man, this is too much up to chance. I need to start looking. I was married at that time. We had talked about kids. You know, you start to realize that there's a lot of life when you're done racing dirt bikes, and I started kind of looking down the road.
Well, David, let's talk a little bit of current events. You're one of the most respected journalists in the sport. You've been writing about it for, 15 years. What do you think about the first two rounds? Any surprises there?
There are some surprises. Dungey, obviously not a surprise. We knew he'd come in on fire, and he has. Chad Reed's a big surprise to me.
Right.
And I don't know why. It probably shouldn't be. Every year he comes out and proves us wrong. But, you know, he's not getting younger. His team was not solidified. You know, a lot of times guys will come in just with not so much confidence because his whole deal isn't put together.
Yeah.
But Chad's so strong mentally. Last weekend was really, really impressive to me. The opener he rode great. Last weekend, if it wasn't for Dungey being so rock solid, Chad Reed was going to win.
Won.
Yeah. And so I think he's very fired up and motivated to win tonight, to get that 9th win. And he's got the momentum behind him, I think, to do it. If I'm putting money on a guy tonight, maybe it's optimistic, but I'd like to see Chad Reed do it.
So you're going with the number 22. Do you play the RM Fantasy Supercross? You play any of the fantasy?
I don't. You know, my wife already gets mad. I can't. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. She gets bummed out. So I'm trying to limit my time on that stuff.
Well, you need to go to the fantasy and pick Chad Reed to win, because you know, a lot of guys are picking him to be on the podium a third tonight here. But like you said, with that win he had, he's gained a lot of confidence, and you know, I think that Chad is kind of cherishing the moments down there. His family was with him, Ellie, the kids, and everything. I think that each time he is on the podium, and if he gets a win, it's a special win for Chad Reed.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I still get chills thinking about his last win when he stood up on the concrete down here, and he was just like, I stood up. I was like cheering. I was like, yeah, you know. So I don't have a vested interest in that. It was just very cool and emotional to see him bet on himself and then come out and make it happen.
Are you surprised Eli Tomac a 4-4 to start the season? I'm not surprised with that, because I think he wants to start this season out slow and build on it.
Well, there's a part of me, after watching how well he started the Nationals last year, he was head and shoulders above everybody. I thought, okay, he's going to come out and just be firing. But that's not really reality. He had a very serious injury with his shoulders, new bike, new team, and I think what he's doing is smart. You know, I don't think he's pushing.
Right.
I guarantee you he can go faster, but I think he wants to stay on two wheels, don't lose a bunch of points at the front, and you know, build. And I think he's doing that.
I agree. David, we just want to thank you for coming on Race Day Live. Congratulations on your career. Congratulations on your success after dirt bikes.
Thanks, man.
We were down there on the track. We were just talking about Eli Tomac. Let's go take a closer look. Andy Bowyer, Race Day Live, presented by Amsoil. We're here with Eli Tomac, Monster Energy Kawasaki. You've had 2 4th place to start the season. You got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's just it's a nice solid start. I mean, points wise, it's what you want to do. Just get out of the first couple of rounds, just kind of top 5 and stay in the hunt. but it's definitely time to start making some moves and get up front. You know, up front's a podium and trying to fight for a win. Right now, once again, it's coming down to the starts. There's 5 or 6 guys that are right there. I mean, there are guys that are doing a little bit better than others, but shoot, man, it's time to get up front.
Right. I talked to Bruce, and he said one of the things they're working into your program is just to remain calm. And there's been calamity all around you in the first 2 rounds. And how is that? Has it been hard to remain calm? You wanted to pull the trigger. You just kind of been methodic about that approach.
Yeah, I think the good thing is that I kind of have to be calm just because it's a whole new environment and new motorcycle, and it's making me kind of take my time and learn things. So, and that way it's good. But for myself, I want to be able to get up there and start battling for the win.
Right on. So round 3 could be time for number 3. And we just heard from Eli Tomac there, and the operative word there in our conversation with him was calm. Stay calm. You've had 2 fourth-place finishes. You're right in the hunt. There's a lot of races to go. I think he's right where he wants to be.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think about that. What David said, earlier is that, it's not really a surprise. And a 4.4 is not a bad way to start out the season when you're on a new team and a new bike, and the injuries that he's sustained and coming back. And like you said, with those outdoors, the way he attacked the outdoors, I mean, maybe, he says, maybe I got to back it down a little bit and just kind of start out slow and build each and every week. And that'll be a key thing here, round 3, Anaheim, to see if he can get on the podium, because that's the next step on the ladder. Hey, I got the consistency now. I've got a couple 4s. Let's see if I can get up onto the box somehow.
I think they're looking for him to do that over there in the Monster Energy Kawasaki pits. I talked to Bruce Sturgeonstrom this morning, said they had a really good week of practice, and they're really looking for him to maybe pull the trigger tonight and come out firing. It's been a little rough so far in qualifying for the number 3, though.
No, not bad. I mean, we looked at it. I mean, he was outside that top 10. He was 11th, so it'll be interesting the final time they come out here for their second qualifying session to see if he can get that in there, gain a little bit of confidence. If he can get into the top 5 or top 4, hey, that's a considerable gain. He knows, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. So we got to remember that a lot of these guys still, the settings that they have when they go out for the qualifying, they go out for that free practice. Free practice, kind of feel out the bike, feel out the course, see what it's like. Hey, I'm really not happy with this. Let's make some changes. And then they go out for the qualifying, and it's the wrong way. We went the wrong way. So let's go the other way, and let's see how it works out for the second qualifying practice. And that's why we have qualifying, and that's why we have our picks. We got to see how they do in the second session.
Well, it's really important, especially tonight, with the start being the way it is with the right-hander. Having a gate pick is very important. So having a good qualifying position gets you a good heat rate position. You have a good heat race, you get into the main event with a good main event gate pick. It all starts with qualifying, and you want to finish it on a positive note. So like you said, hopefully make some adjustment to the clickers, makes the bike a little bit better. Hopefully Eli Tomac comes out here and puts that number 3 in the top 5.
Yeah, let's take a look at the MX versus ATV. We got that set up again and go around the course. I know Stefan Rone, he was on here earlier and we talked about it, but I'm just so mesmerized at the graphics and how the sounds and the ruts in the course and everything that we have here on the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore. I just like the graphics, and I like all the sponsorship and the lights and the crowd. You hear the crowd in the background. I just think it's an excellent game. And like you said, when we go to Phoenix, that's when me and you are going to go head-to-head on this game, Andy.
I'll take it easy on you. I've been practicing a little too much maybe, but
now I got an advantage because you're a new dad, so I know you're going to be busy changing diapers, so I better get that controller in my hand and get acclimated. But you can just see it and hear, and I think that the people over there at MX versus ATV Supercross Encore, I think they have a good guy with Michael over there and Stefan Rone. I think they have all the great guys to put all this in, and we want to thank them for the Kawasaki track map. We don't have the arrow, we got a guy out there coming up here. Nice whips. I mean, this is huge. And sometimes you see some of the guys, they'll actually quad a section, and I'm not sure if we can do it in real life, but it looks cool on the game.
That's right, folks. Remember, MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore video game is now available for PlayStation 4. Pick up your copy now at Amazon and Walmart and GameStop. Go get you one. It's a great game. Jim, we've talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, but I want to talk more about the super sophomores. Cole Seeley, Jason Anderson. Jason Anderson comes out swinging, wins the first one. was on the podium last weekend, but he jumped on a red cross flag, but still a strong start for both of those sophomore racers. And I think they're really going to put on a show tonight and be a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at I think that Jason Anderson, he was a little disappointed with last year. Cole Seeley he was a rookie also. He gets a win. Anderson didn't get the win. So he wanted to come out here in 2016 and make a statement and say, hey, you know what? Now I got my win. I'm a sophomore. And, like I said, Cole Seeley, what do you say? I mean, the consistency that guy has, I mean, he's had 2 podiums so far. So he's right there in the hunt. He's third in the points right now as we're seeing some of the guys get ready to line up for this final qualifying session here. They're over there at the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate, and you're seeing the track guys still do a little workout on the track. They want to make this thing perfect for this final qualifying session.
Yes, they do. And, folks, that's it. You heard it from Jim Holley. The second round of qualifying is coming up. Stay tuned. Amsoil. Let nothing stand between you and a great day of riding. Protect your weekend. Choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants for your bike and your truck.
DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of 2016 Monster Energy Supercross. DC, defying convention since 1994. Check out our latest products at journeys.com.
Motorcycle Mechanics Institute wants to give you a 2016 Kawasaki Teryx 4LE side-by-side. Go to www.winthatride.com to enter for your chance to win. Oakley is proud to be the official eyewear sponsor of Monster Energy Supercross. Follow us at Oakley Motorsports and at Oakley on Instagram and Twitter.
Sponsored by Yamaha, from world-leading motocross, supersport, and cruiser motorcycles to ATVs, side-by-sides, generators, and more, Yamaha revs your heart.
There's a lot of performance hidden in these tires. These tires are insanely good. Selected as a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If this is what experts thought about Cooper tires, imagine what you'll have to say. They're impressive on all surfaces. Put Cooper tires on your car today.
I just woke up one day and it clicked, and I'm like, I'm not just going to be someone that rode a dirt bike and that tried. I'm going to become the best. To be the best, it takes sacrifice, it takes a dream and a drive.
Striving to be the best, it's super critical to have a strong team behind you and a strong motorcycle. Being the best is everything, that's what you want. It's where you want to be.
It all just comes down to how much passion you have for the sport.
Bike is everything to be the best.
Never give up, chase your dream, and if you work hard now and you sacrifice and you do what you're supposed to do, you can live the rest of your life as a champion.
The Yamaha Champion YZ450F and multi-champion YZ250F.
Rainbow Studios. Are you ready for more? MX versus ATV Supercross Encore. The off-road legend returns with the next generation of graphics. Set yourself up with all new gear and bikes. Tear up the track in outdoor nationals and waypoint races. Meet up and explore in freeride. And for the first time ever, rhythm racing. Available now.
Your journey to work, to play, to see places you've never seen before. It's not where you're riding, it's who you're riding with.
This is Greg Scott from Australia. You're watching Race Day Live.
And welcome back to Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. That was your buddy Greg there, Jim.
Greg Scott, he's probably listening in and down in Australia. He came over here to watch a couple. He'll be back, I guarantee you, when we hit that East Coast. He's going to head over to Foxborough and MetLife later on in April.
Great guy, great guy. You know, and before we went to break, we were talking about the super sophomores with Anderson and Cole Seeley. It's been kind of a back and forth between those two. In 2014, Anderson came out on top in their 250 Western Region Championship. Then last year, Seeley becomes the first guy, you know, not between the two of them, to win a 450 main event. Anderson fires back and wins the first one of the season this year.
Well, and I think
and
the other
so
thing,
it goes on.
Yeah, and I think last year that, you know, a lot of people forget that Seeley, you know, had a chance. You know, he finished up third in the points last year, and Anderson was down out of there. So let's take a look at Cole Seeley as a few of the guys are getting ready to go out. We'll go to Cole.
Dreams. Street scenes, Hollywood strip, out on Sunset, getting it. West side, get a grip. North side, G-trip. East side, banging it. South side, slanging it. California dreams. California dreams.
I'd say I'm definitely a part of the mellow group. I fit in pretty well down here in Laguna. I can go mountain biking and riding one day and then go snowboarding and surfing the next. I don't know, I'm just a California kid through and through.
But Seeley's road to Supercross stardom was not exactly California carefree, including giving up the sport he loved twice.
I quit just because it was not fun. I could see it wasn't affecting my parents, it was affecting my family. You know, I needed to get away and see what it was like to be a normal teenager. And at that point, I didn't think I was going to race ever again. And then also in 2009, the team that I was on folded, and I didn't have a ride going in 2010. So at that point, I was like, oh, I'll go back to college and, you know, I'll get a normal job and just life. I don't know. What are you going to do? You know, you got to figure out another way to support yourself. I really didn't have a plan, but I wasn't going to sit on the couch all day and do nothing. I needed to kind of go through the ropes and you know, be the guy nobody knew about to the guy, you know, that's competing for the titles and all that. I feel like I have more of a solid background because of it.
Seeley spent 6 seasons in the 250 ranks before the self-labeled underdog moved up as a 26-year-old rookie.
Gate drop time in Houston.
I never really thought like what it would feel like to win a 450. It's never really been like something that's been in my sight.
Seeley now with the lead.
I think like halfway through I had like a 12-second gap or something like that. So I knew like I had a lot of cushion.
You are just focused on hitting your lines perfect. You're trying not to think about the checkered flag.
At that point, you can almost make more mistakes because you're not used to riding at such a 80% level kind of thing.
Cole Seeley wins his first ever Monster Energy Supercross.
By round 17, you know, I almost didn't want it to end. I wanted to keep going. Like after motocross, what am I gonna do? So it's like always these options like, oh, maybe I'll just dip into this for now and I might like it, might get good at it. Maybe I can make money doing this after I'm done racing. So I play guitar, just mess around every now and then, but nothing too crazy. Drifting, I like it because it kind of teaches me throttle control. I don't know if it helps me with my riding, but I'd like to think it does because it's so fun. Gotten into photography, shoot some beach stuff or whatever it may be. This year I picked up like computer and CAD design. I don't want to like get too old and be like, oh, I should have done that when I was younger. I like living life and having fun. I feel like I have a lot of fire underneath me, and more importantly, I'm having more fun this year, and it makes it more enjoyable and more motivating.
Here we are back on track, 250C qualifying number 2. But Jim Holley, that piece on Cole Seeley, really enjoyed that. Just good look behind the scenes of what he's really about and what he's like.
Yeah, I think a lot of people and a lot of fans really enjoy those because of the fact that they only see him here. You know, when they got their gear on, their helmet, maybe they see him in an autograph session, but, you know, kind of what he's into. And a lot of these fans can relate, like, hey, man, I ride a BMX bike,
play guitar.
I play a guitar. You know, I didn't know he played a guitar.
I didn't either.
And I've known Cole for a long time. I know his dad, Jeff, and his mom and everything. And, yeah, I think and a lot of that stuff is relaxation, but not relaxing right now is Luke Clout with a 102.7 out there for Luke, the Australian, filling in for Daniel Baker on the Suzuki team over there.
Has to be feeling pretty good. The track just got worked on. Smoothed out the whoops a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's what a few of the guys were saying, that maybe they were a little cupped out, and you saw the Feld Motorsports track crew over there kind of working on them, getting them good. So I think the times will drop a little bit here in this final qualifying session we have here today at Anaheim.
Looking forward to seeing those A groups.
Yeah, I mean, for you fantasy players, Rocky Mountain fantasy players there, I mean, this is the final opportunity you're going to get a chance to see, and then you go and make your picks.
There's Luke Clout right there, just kind of cruising around. Already has the fastest time.
Yeah, he dropped it a little bit. Now he's at a 101.4. So each time Luke gets a little bit more comfortable with the motorcycle and the track, as you're going to see him pull off here and maybe just kind of look at the whoops. And sometimes they go around the whoops to maybe get to their mechanics.
Shake off a little arm pump maybe. I don't know, man. It looks like a guy that's going to have a good chance of putting his bike in the main event. He's been strong in the C group qualifying. He's about 2 or 3 seconds faster than everybody else in the 250 C group. But, gets a decent gate pit, gets a decent finish in his heat race, and doesn't have to go to that last chance qualifier. And maybe Luke Clout joins that team and makes the main event. Here in our screen is 384, Lorenzo Camporisi.
That's our Italian boy.
We think so. Lorenzo Camporisi. And
Lorenzo putting in some good laps there. Like you said, he's just looks like he might be on a heater. We'll see if he can drop it down. He's got about 4 minutes and 25 seconds left. He's Lorenzo's time. He's sitting 6th right now with a 106.7. So about 5 seconds off of Luke Clout's.
As Luke Clout's back in the screen here. Yeah, the top 5: Luke Clout, Bradley Leone, Dimitri Rolando, Tyler Custer, Dalton Oxborough. 6th is Eric Musling, Lorenzo Camporisi 7th, Sean Yarborough 8th, Brian Burns 9th, and Alex Harwood rounding out the top 10. Luke Clout, though,
he's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they did a good job on going down there, and they saw a couple other Australians putting in some good lap times and rides and things like that. One of the guys that I'm drawing a blank on his name, but Lawson Bobbing from Australia. He put in a great ride in the opener there. And then the other gentleman we had, Hayden Melross, he's from Australia. So, Australia has a good Supercross program down there, a lot of racing and stuff, and that's where you're seeing a lot of these guys go to, and what an opportunity for them to come over here and fill in.
Great opportunity. A lot of fast guys down there in Oz, and big scene down there. They had the Supercross Open race with Ricky Carmichael versus Chad Reed, and of course Cooper Webb won that main event. But during the week I work on social media, and one of the loudest city in the world for our social media programs is Brisbane, Australia. Lots of fans. Like we say during the show, we want to thank all the fans for joining on Race Day Live, international fans especially. Thank you for tuning in and watching Round 3 at Anaheim.
Well, I don't want to give a personal shout out to Greg Blackman. He's battling an illness, but he said he just threw me a text. Hey, man, I'm still watching Race Day Live, and thanks for listening in. I know he's going to be happy that, I'm sure he's probably playing the Rocky Mountain Fantasy.
Yeah.
And he's going to pick some picks.
A little under 2 minutes to go. It is still Luke Clout, Bradley Lyonnais, Dimitri Rolando, looks like Keely Russell, and Tyler Custer rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, and Custer we've seen in that other, on the first qualifying time practice, putting in some pretty good times there, sitting 5th right now. that'll do it with a 105.7. You know, that's part of that 40 fastest that are going to be able to move on tonight. A couple of the other guys, Travis Smith sitting down there, 111. Derek Stevens, I'm not sure if that's going to make it in a 111. But maybe.
Yeah, it's time for him to go. This is it. If these guys want to race tonight in front of 35, 40,000 people, they have to go right now, or else it's time to load it up. So they got to try to send it into the whoops. They got to try to get into that fast 40. It's a minute and 30 seconds left.
The Arenacross, the Amsoil Arenacross boys, they're in Allentown, PA. And
snowy
Austin,
Allentown, PA, yeah.
Austin Faulkner made his debut, and not too bad, fifth.
Yeah, not bad. You know, I didn't know how he would do. I know that he's one of the fastest young guys we've seen in a long time, but Jacob Hayes, Kyle Riegel, Gavin Faith, Travis Sewell, in their genre and riding Arenacross tracks, those guys are as tough as anybody in the world.
Well, going into Allentown, the leader in the points, Chris Bloss with 84,
right.
one win. Faith, no wins, but he's got 81. He's sitting second. And then Hayes with 80 points with 3 wins. And Hayes went in Baltimore 1-1 that second night, because now they're getting into Friday and Saturday nights. This is Saturday night's results from Baltimore. But make sure you go to Arenacross or AmsoilArenacross.com.
Right.
And check out the results, because those are the future of Supercross.
Absolutely. The Amsoil Arenacross. Motocross more intense. Speaking of more intense, about 20 seconds to go here in 250C.
Well, and you talk about that intensity, and what did I talk about earlier in this practice?
Yeah.
Luke getting more and more comfortable. He's down to a minute .6 now. So, I mean, he is on fire right now. The next guy behind him, Bradley Lyonnais. A 104.3.
4 seconds faster.
Yeah. He'll definitely be in the B practice next weekend when we head up to Oakland.
I hope it works out for Luke tonight. Checkered flag is out. Coming up next, 250B group qualifying. Then the big boys. 250A, 450A. Who's going to get that first gate pick? Who's going to get their night started off on the right foot?
Well, and you got to remember that Christophe Pourcel, he's got the fastest time. We'll see if his time can stand up to the fastest, or the final qualifying session, if it'll drop down. I have a feeling it'll drop down, but don't count out Christophe. He may drop his down.
Or Ryan Dungey might come out swinging like he did last week and smoke everybody.
They're getting a chance now to see the
final
top qualifiers here in this final Group C 250 class. On top, the Australian, Luke Clout.
Has to be feeling good. Jumps into that ride. And top 5, Luke Clout, Bradley Lyonnais, Eric Musling, Dimitri Rolando, Keely Russell, Tyler Custer. That's your top 6.
Where's our boy Lorenzo Camprisi, 10th?
Yeah.
Did we check and see if he was from Italy, or is he a local boy? He's got to be.
Italy. You called it.
Italy. A name like that, he's bringing the pasta over.
Right. Top 10. That should put him into the show pretty good.
I like to see him. I like to see all guys, coming through. It's you got to remember that here we're getting a chance here. The upcoming shows will be at
Odatco Coliseum,
Oakland, home of the Oakland Raiders. And right after that, the Arizona Cardinals in the University of Phoenix Stadium. Then we're back at Petco Park, San Diego, February 13th, Military Appreciation Night. For all you guys out there, don't forget, the next day is Valentine's Day, the 14th. And then we're at AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. And then the start of that East Coast, February 27th, the Georgia.
Yeah, March 5th, Daytona. March 12th, the Rogers Center. March 19th, Ford Field, Levi Stadium, April 2nd. Then Lucas Oil Stadium, April 9th. Comes back to the East Coast there. Edward Jones Dome. That's a day race, the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, Missouri, April 16th. And then followed by April 23rd will be Gillette Stadium. Then we go move on to MetLife and finish it all off in Sam Boyd Stadium. So we got a lot of racing to go.
As we see that Group B leading the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. We nailed it. Well, this is the one where we're going to have to see us. Yeah, I mean, they reworked the whoops. You can see Maxine just kind of blitzed across there. Oh, kind of ramming. These guys are pulling the trigger and sending it here.
Track looks good.
Dylan Epstein, he's out there somewhere, 188. I know that Frenchie's working for him this weekend and preparing the bikes. The C4 MX crew taking care of building those bikes. Brock Shoemaker also on that team.
It's still, yeah.
Trying to look for Shoemaker,
Maxime
though.
Desprez leading him around. Looks good. He's been working with David Villeman, the great David Villeman, the Cobra. So you can pick up a thing or two from that guy. Definitely one of the greats in the sport. He's still around. I'd love to have him on Race Day Live and talk to him. I'd love to hear from David Villeman.
Yeah, we should get him on. There's Brock Shoemaker up to that third spot. Maxime
Oh, Maxime Desprez goes down hard. Looks like he's okay, though. Need to get them wheels pointed the right direction. But
well, the thing about it is he might have to go in and maybe adjust something. You don't know if the throttle cable got broke, but it looks like the bike's all right. It's probably a little bent up. He might want to go straighten out the front wheel, but he's got time. He's still got 8 minutes to go out there. There's Chris Howell putting in a good time on his Husky, sitting second right now. Scott Champion, 76. I want to give a shout out. Zachary Cummins made the debut last weekend.
Made the main event.
So
right.
Good job for Cummings.
Comans. Zachary Comans, yeah. Top 5 early on still. Maxime Desprez, Chris Howell, Brock Shoemaker, Scott Champion, and Zach Comans. Chris Howell jumps up to the top now with a 1:02.9.
Yeah, and look at that time, a 1:02.9. And what was Luke Clout?
1 minute flat.
A 1 minute flat.
Yeah. So Clout's looking good. Howell's a main event guy. He's been in the main event so far in 2016. And Luke Clout looks strong. I'd have to say next weekend he's going to be in this B group. Man, the whoops look pretty good there.
Yeah, they're good now.
The Feld track crew worked on him and got the cups taken out of him, like you said, Jim. Lots of moisture in the dirt.
And times are changing. These guys are going back.
Yeah.
There's Kinzer Endicott, 381, sitting in ninth at 107 right now.
Johnny Gilderda jumps to the top. Bracken Hall jumps up to the top. Like you said, Jim,
Wow,
bouncing
they're
around
moving
like popcorn right now. That was a fast lap. Bracken Hall with a 1 minute flat, followed by Zach Bell with a 1 minute flat, 0.7.
That's a guy, Zach Bell, struggling a little bit this year. I would have thought he would have had some better finishes, but battling a few issues. Hopefully tonight will be the night he can put that thing up in the top 10.
Agreed. You know, if he used to be a whole shot guy. He could pull out one of those good starts and have himself a good main event.
Yeah, he didn't, he's sitting right now in 21st. He's out of the top 20 in the points there. Didn't ride last weekend San Diego because of an injury, but, only collected 6 points here in the opener.
Noah McConaughey blitzing across the whoops, riding hard, soaking it through the rhythm lane. Looks good. Good corner.
I got about 6 minutes to go in this one. And it's just that section right there in the middle where they seed hop that triple area.
Oh, got a little swappy in the whoops there. Held on to it, stayed onto the throttle. Another good corner.
Yeah, Hall now you're seeing with a 1 minute 0.5, and then right behind him in second, Zach Bell with a 1 minute 0.7. So all these guys are really close.
There's number 815, one of the more difficult names in our program, Iker Larrañaga Olano. That's it, he's from Spain, all the way from Spain, but he's been riding good. He's been getting a lot of time in the 250B class. There's Zach Comans right there, number 203.
On that KTM, making it work good. That sand section, he ought to be used to that sand. I know he practices out at Sutterville, Joe Sutter's place out in Moore Park. So that's got to be maybe a little bit of an advantage for him. I know he gets some sand under his belt. I know Matt Whiting's helping him out, coaching him. Whoa, hang on, Zach. You know what I like, though? He made that mistake. He still pulled the trigger and still went for that section.
You go 100 feet to a tough block, just go ahead and keep going through the rhythm. With a little under 5 minutes to go, it's Bracken Hall, Zachary Bell, Johnny Gilderda, Killian Oberson, and Thomas Dew rounding out the top 5.
getting a chance now to the number 76, Scott Champion there. We're going so fast I can't even read the note. Oh, one rider going over to see the Asterix Mobile Medical Unit. I can't see who that rider's name is, but hopefully he's okay. Looks okay. He had to get his goggles. He caught his goggles, so he's fine. He's ready to go.
Ready to get back in there.
Can't see that number, though, from here on our... I know he's got O'Neill gear. I can see that, but I can't see the number. Let's see it. That's a 381.
That's Kinzer Endicott.
Yeah, it is Kinzer. We did a little did an interview with him on Track Walk. I know that he's from Red Bluff, California. It's raining a lot up there, and he says, you know what? I stayed back. I didn't go home after Petco. I wanted to stay here and ride and get a chance to get some more settings done, and hopefully he's okay. Big, strong kid.
Looks okay.
Shoulder, he's listening. Ah, man, it's a little sore, but I'm ready to go.
Maxime still going for it after that spectacular crash. Had the bike upside down over there in the rhythm lane, picks it back up. At one time, he was leading these guys around on top of the leaderboard. Now he's fallen to all the way down to, looks like 21st. That's not right. He had a better lap than that. But looks like he's trying to put a heater in here towards the end of 250B qualifying.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, his bike was upside down.
I think he knocked off the transponder.
Yeah, he probably knocked off that transponder, and we're not getting a good time on him.
There he moved up. He moved up to 13th there. So
sometimes they got to readjust that, recalibrate it after a guy goes upside down like that.
Got to recalibrate a lot of things when you go upside down. Good to see him back up, though. Been a pretty clean day of practice and qualifying today. A couple mishaps, but
yeah, I think it's perfect weather. I think tonight is going to be
weather.
Excellent. I mean,
sunshine.
Yeah.
As the sun's beginning to crest here, but the dirt is excellent.
Yeah, and you notice when you see on the screen when some of the guys are going down into the first turn, you're kind of seeing them when they come back out onto the starting line. They're starting to push it out. They're starting to, but the Dirtworks guys, you know, the Feld track crew and all the guys, they'll get out there and they'll groom that out, and that first turn will be perfect come main event time. A little greasy this morning.
Was a little bit of water on there. With under 2 minutes to go, it is Bracken Hall, Zachary Bell, Chris Howell, Killian Alberson, Johnny Gilderda. We'll go through the top 10. Thomas Doe from France, Austin Politelli 7th, Noah McConaughey 8th, Scott Champion 9th. And rounding out the top 10, Kevin Weisbruch.
You saw Brock Shoemaker there. He's got a 102.9 sitting in 12th right there. So we'll see how that goes. And his teammate there, Dylan,
with the
104.
Like you were saying, with Luke Clout's 1 minute flat, would have put him at the top of this one too.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 1 minute point. Was it a 4 or a 5?
I think it was a 4.
I can't remember.
Right.
So yeah, I think he's got it.
One to keep an eye on tonight for sure. Stepping into that ride.
Well, the thing will be is you got to remember. Let's see how he does on the start, because like you said, he has good lap times, but the lap times out here when you got a good clean track and you're just racing by qualifying, by yourself, it's a whole different ball game when they drop that starting race. 22 guys in that main event.
45 seconds to go. I want to remind everybody it's Babies on Bikes, hashtag Babies on Bikes. If you have photos of your baby and your dirt bike, send them in to Supercross Live. Hashtag SX on Fox. Let's see your photos. Got to admit, you guys got me with my my little gift there this morning. that was something else. Can't wait to get home to Mandy and Stella and Scarlett. But that's it. Hashtag Babies on Bikes. Send in your photos. We'll put you up on the Jumbotron. We'll put you on the website. You want to see all that good stuff. Also, use Ask RDL, Ask Race Day Live. If you got a question for us, send it in.
Yeah, we'll answer it.
Absolutely. Ask RDL. Send us your questions. If you want a question from one of our guests, you want a question from Jim Holley or myself or Miss Mayra Tinajero, hashtag Ask RDL. Ask some questions and we'll answer them. As the checkered flag is out. Bracken Hall.
Still going to hang on to it.
The Heat. Followed by Zach Bell, Chris Howell, Killian Alberson, Thomas Dew, I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm going to have to get with
we'll have to go in the pits
one of
and
our
ask
French
him.
buddies, maybe Roncada, and get the lowdown there. But nonetheless, he's in the top 5.
You know, something interesting that I saw, you know, on some statistics, Anaheim Stadium is just one of the venues that have, or two of the venues rather, where siblings have won, and that would be Tyson Volan in 1986 and his brother Talon Volan in 2000.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. Well, it's just about to the climax of the show, Jim. That's the rundown for 250B qualifying number 2. Up next, 250A and 450A. So I'm pretty excited. I want to see these guys. It was exciting to see Savatgy put up a faster time than Cooper Webb the first time they were out. Be interesting to see if Cooper, charges back and rules that with an iron fist, or if somebody else like maybe Christian Craig's going to step up.
Well, that would be a first-time winner if we see that happen.
Yeah.
There's only been a few of them here. Nelson, and last one was Jesse Nelson last year, and then before that, Casey Johnson, Damon Huffman in 93. Christian Craig's dad, Michael Craig, got his first year at Anaheim here back in 1990, Matasevich 87, and then there's that Tyson Volan that we just talked about in 1986. That was his first, and then Mike Healy in 1985. As we're getting a chance, that's Weston Peick's father right there. That's the riders' seating area. That's where the riders and their families seat to get a chance, as we're seeing some of the guys funnel on to the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate just in front there. You can hear the revs come up, Andy. That's where you get excited. They know it's ready to go, and this is it. They just got a little bit of time to go here, and we'll see what happens.
Those 250, the 250 race bikes just sound amazing nowadays. You know,
they rev to the moon.
In a hurry too.
Kevin Kratz down there from the AMA just kind of holding them back and just saying, okay, guys.
Somebody's going to jump out there.
Wait a minute, you know. And something interesting I see, you know, a lot of the track crew now, the Feld track crew in the AMA, they were wearing helmets down there, and I think that's a good idea. Flaggers, Robert Kelly, and you know, some of the guys were saying, well, we don't really like wearing helmets, but I think it's a good thing.
I do too.
Whoa.
Mitchell Harrison jumps out there. The rookie, let's see him go through the whoops. I think he went down in the first practice in the whoops. Got through there really nicely that time.
Yeah, he looks good.
Mitchell Harrison's made both main events so far in the 250 Western Region 250 SX class. Just making the main as a rookie is tough. But he's up to the task. He's on a capable machine, riding the same bike that the red plate holder has. Looks good.
So you know it works.
That's right. You can't really come back and say the bike ain't working.
Bike ain't working. Bike's not fast enough. Really?
Yeah. It looks good.
Oh, hang on. Well, the rear
both
wheels
tires
stepped out a little bit on that one.
This is that tough rhythm section. You go 3, and the 450s are going 3 again, and then 2, and then 3 out.
Yeah, they just don't have the horsepower.
Right. Mitchell Oldenburg on your screen right now.
Look at that, standing up. For you guys watching this, that's the way you go around a corner. You weight that inside peg, and you just rail that outside. He's on a fast lap right now. Let's see if he can jump up. See what happens here. There's that triple a little bit. There's that big seat hop to get onto that thing and step off of it.
Looks good.
Yeah, real good.
Mitch Oldenburg, Midwest boy from Oklahoma. There's Cooper Webb, the big number 1.
The big bad wolf.
Big bad wolf, yeah. I've been calling him that. He'll blow your house down. He's that fast.
Well, there's Mitch Oldenburg to the top with a 59.5, so under a minute. But the key is...
That's a good lap.
Yeah,
Mitch Oldenburg, wow.
The first time on the qualifying, what was it?
Well, earlier this morning was at 58.9 by Zach Osborne. Yeah.
So we'll see if they can come. It's still early. Right. We got 7 minutes, a little over 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow. With Cooper in your screen right there, getting clean over that rhythm.
Yeah, and the key is on that to land on that downside. Even if you don't and you land on the step off, that's okay. You just step off. But Webb's landing and then jumping that double into that corner and carrying that momentum. Oh.
Yeah, lost the rear end there.
But he gathered it up. You see, most guys, he still gathers it up, but Joey Savatgy now with a 58.3. Christian Craig a 58.5. So they've brought it into the 58s now.
Savatgy showed up to race today. Fastest in the last in the qualifying number 1. Fastest in the early going here in qualifying number 2.
He looked back. He saw Cooper Webb.
Yeah.
Let's see. It'll be interesting to see if he jumps in behind him.
I don't think so. It would, save that for the race.
Yeah, no sense in start stirring the pot up now.
Yeah.
But you saw how he rode around the whoops and then
Uh-huh.
came back in. Joey Savatgy maybe just trying to catch his breath. Remember, he's battling that injury that he had last weekend and still, able to get it on the podium and finish up second last week. But I know he wants to win, and he's keeping everybody, he's keeping Webb honest.
Osborne a little short there.
Yeah, he's going to slow down, kind of check some things out.
Yeah. In the early going in 250A, qualifying number 2, it's Joey Savatgy, Christian Craig, Jordan Smith, Zach Osborne, and Mitchell Oldenburg, rounding out your top 5.
Hang on to it, Chris Aldridge. Foot was off going into that right-hander.
Aldridge sitting in 9th spot right now. Trying to see, Zach Osborne's off on a heater right now.
Hayden Melrose, our guest last week, the Australian, Melrose rather, sitting in 18th. Not a good qualifying session for him. He's at a 101.8, 0.5 rather.
Yeah, more credit to Luke Clout. His 1 minute flat would place him near the top 10 in the A group.
Yeah.
So, very impressive from the Australian.
Yeah, put him right about, maybe 12th, just right behind Aldridge, because you got Michael Lieb in that 13 with a
Kyle Peters.
Hang on to it.
He's all right. Got a little huckabuck, little whiskey throttle in the whoops there over the bars. But no worse for the wear. Zach Osborne jumps to the top. With a little under 5 minutes to go, Zach Osborne, Cooper Webb, Joey Savatgy, Mitchell Oldenburg, and Christian Craig are the top 5.
A lot of guys opting to go around the whoops there. You saw Cooper Webb and Savatgy is still going around the whoops there. I'm not sure if they maybe just, it might be a safety thing where you see one guy down in the whoops and you don't want to go in there and see some yellow flags now. If you see there's another rider going around the whoops. So I'm not sure why these guys are going around the whoops. A couple guys are still going through them.
You hate that.
I hate it. I hate it. That's not the racetrack.
I know. Stay on the track.
Stay on the track.
Practice the track. I know.
Because what's going to happen, one of these days, someone's going to be out there in the race, and they're going to go subconsciously in their mind, they're going to go around the whoops and realize the big mistake that they made. Kyle Cunningham there, look at that. Looks like he's on a heater right now.
Osborne and Webb with the 58 flat. That's
well, can they get it into the high 57s? That's going to be the question with 3 minutes and 35 seconds to go here in this final 250 Supercross Group A final qualifying session. There's the Wolf. Does he like that name?
I don't know.
I'm going to have to ask him.
I'm going to have to ask him too.
Ooh, nice triple there, double, seed hop this. See, now that time he wasn't able to get on the downside
Messed it up
of
a little bit.
Yeah. And he just blitzes by that guy in the whoops.
It's got to be a little defeating. Good corner. Nice and low.
Yeah, let's see, maybe if his time changes. Here he goes. He's up and over the Monster Energy finish line. Did he drop it down?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he did. A 57.6 that last lap. And we saw him make a little bobble.
And he made a couple mistakes. Made a mistake in the major rhythm section. Cooper Webb jumps to the top with a little under 3 minutes to go. Webb, Christian Craig, Zach Osborne, Joey Savatgy, Mitchell Oldenburg, your top 5.
Yeah, he's kind of putting around now. I'm not so sure why he keeps taking his left hand off that handlebar. See that? That's something interesting to look at.
A little bit interesting.
Yeah, he's kind of been taking it off, and he's going to ride around the whoops, and maybe he jammed his wrist. You see, there's something something going on like that. I mean, Andy, you ride and I ride.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's okay. I think he was just chilling.
Why'd he miss the whoops that time?
Just went out there. You hate that.
Well, maybe his wrist is bothering him. You don't know.
Hey, just
the other thing, too, is
right.
he might be trying to get a good, clean track so he can lay down another fast lap time.
Yeah, we
we'll
saw
see if
his
he can go under.
displeasure the last time he was out when somebody got in his way, remember?
Yep. See, now he's back to rolling things again.
57.6, 4/10 faster than Christian Craig in second. Zach Osborne third. Joey Savatgy fourth. Mitchell Oldenburg rounding out the top 5. Going through the top 10. Colt Nichols is 6th. Jordan Smith 7th. Jimmy D 8th. Chris Aldridge 9th. Kyle Cunningham 10th.
Savatgy now drops it into the 57. 57.8 for Joey Savatgy.
Yeah. Good lap. Real good lap. So far,
Osborne hit the rear brake to get that front wheel to drop down.
Then got all the way over that table. Nice.
Crushed every inch of the track to get up high there and carry that speed in the whoops.
Excellent corner.
When I talked to him earlier today,
another excellent corner.
I asked him how Martin Davalos was doing.
Went to the top. I was going to say, he put together a couple corners there that were impressive.
57.4.
57.4. Osborne. He's been tough. Made one little mistake last week, and otherwise he was runner-up.
Jimmy Dakotas there, number 58. Come on, Jimmy, pick it up. 7th right now with a 59.1.
30 seconds to go. Here comes Cooper Webb finishing up another lap. I don't think he's going to touch Osborne's. Not that time.
No, that's a couple tenths to take off. But I don't know, man. He's on it. Let's see if he can do it.
This is it. Let's follow him around and see if he can make it.
See any mistakes?
Cutting the corner there.
Nope. Yeah. Wave it off. He's done it. See, he keeps taking that left hand off, Andy. That's I'm going to have to go down and talk to him. Ask him if something's bothering him.
Yeah. We'll get Mayra down there. Check it out.
Yeah.
Checkered flag is out. Zach Osborne, the fastest in qualifying number 2. 57.4, followed by Cooper Webb, Joey Savatgy, Christian Craig, Mitchell Oldenburg, Colt Nichols, Jimmy D in 7th, Jordan Smith 8th, Chris Aldridge 9th, Kyle Cunningham 10th. That's your top 10 right there. Pretty exciting right there. They bounced back and forth quite a bit. We saw Craig at the top. We saw Savatgy at the top for a long time. Osborne, pretty solid practice, and right at the end, picks it up.
Well, and he's going to get that first gate pick for that second heat. Cooper Webb's going to get the first gate pick for the first heat. It'll be interesting to see those two guys out there. And Joey Savatgy with that 57.8 also. I mean, it's good.
Should be down with Miss Ashley Phillips to hear from Zach Osborne. He's going to be pretty pumped up, I think. It's a good effort. Can anybody stop Cooper Webb? Can Zach Osborne do it? Can Joey Savatgy do it? Christian Craig?
If I'm a betting man, I think Osborne really wants to make a statement here because last weekend he made that mistake and he finished up 6th, and he just goes, you know what? I got to gain some of those points back.
Let's hear from Ashley.
Tonight, the number 16, Zach Osborne. Zach, congratulations. Something about this track really spoke to you in this second round of qualifying. What section did you really make up that time?
I feel good around this whole track tonight. We made some suspension changes with my guys at WP this week, and Husqvarna is getting me off through the whoops really well. So I'm happy and feel good going into the night show with pole position.
You know, you were really on it last week and just a little mistake in the main event, but I think you're really hungry for a win. What's it going to take to get that win here tonight?
Just a good start in the main event. I think this first turn's a little hairy, and it's just going to take a good top 5 start and 15 solid laps. I think we can do it.
Anything you're going to change or work on between the heat races and right now?
No, we stiffened my shock a little bit before this last practice, and that seemed to help me through the whoops and around the whole track, so I think we'll just leave it where it is.
Well, congratulations. He did it, you guys. He was the fastest qualifier. He beat Cooper Webb. Let's see what happens a little bit later tonight. One more time.
Here we go. 450A qualifier. Number 2. Who's it going to be? So far, Anderson's been fast. Millsaps has been fast. Dungy's been fast.
Well, look at some of the guys that are laying back, on that MX versus ATV Supercross Encore starting gate. A few of the guys are laying back. Let Dungy kind of run it out there a little bit. I haven't seen Dungey out in the front like this in a long time. I mean, he's jumping right out there, and he wants to set a precedent.
Yeah, he does. He's set a precedent. He's got the red plate on his bike 2 rounds into the series.
Yeah, follow me, boys.
Uh-huh.
Trying to see who that they're coming into the screen behind him. Is that
Wilbur?
Wilbur?
Yeah.
Good to see Wilbur.
Talked to his mechanic, Dana Wiggins, and they said he had a real solid week of practice. Will's getting a little bit stronger every week, a little more speed. He's doing the right thing, I think. Jump in behind the champ. Jump in behind the series points leader and watch his line. See what he's doing.
And don't get discouraged if he pulls away a little bit, but at least you're going to get some good.
You can feel the pace.
Yeah, you can feel what it's like, and you can see where he's going and what he's doing different. Then maybe you can change it up a little bit. That sand's starting to get a little bit rough back there. As we're watching Dungey go through the whoops and just blitzes them.
There's the Dunge. All the way to the back side of the table. Looks technically perfect.
That's what the 250 guys are trying to do. Webb can get it every once in a while, but not consistently. So we're watching Will Hahn now.
Will's made the main events, hasn't had a lot of luck in him so far, but he's proven in years past he can run at the front of this pack. If he gets a good start, Will Hahn can get the job done.
I just think he's in a position right now where he
needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, he's got to be at all 17 rounds here.
Yeah, shout out Will Hahn, you know. He just keeps coming back. You can't keep him down. He's been injured so many times. But there's a reason why he has a factory ride with Monster Energy Kawasaki. Will Hahn can get the job done. Gets good starts, like I just said, you know. It won't surprise me one bit if halfway through the championship, if he stays healthy, you know, he can crack off a top 5 and get some confidence, and who knows, maybe a podium.
Yeah, look who went to the top of the leaderboard, the Monster Energy leaderboard. Trey Kennard with a 57.2, Dungey with that 57.4, Seeley a 58.6, and Will Hahn, we were just talking about him, actually dropped back down a little bit, but Will Hahn with a 58.6, so definitely following in behind Dungey helped him out a little bit.
Right.
That's Seeley out there right now.
And welcome him back to the set, Miss Mayra Tinajero.
I'm back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. You had some reporting down there in the pits and some stories.
Yeah, we had a bunch of stuff going on down there in the pits. You know, news on Dean Wilson, getting checked out. Hopefully he's going to be good to go. I know, he kind of struggled with injuries in the past before. Hopefully he's trying to avoid those this season. So, I think he just wanted to stop in and do that and, coming back into practice now.
Right on. And we're back on track here. Will Hahn throwing a little whip over the triple.
Good for Will. It's so good to see him up top.
Yeah, now he bumps up. He's just behind Cole Seeley with that 58.6. We'll see if that. Marvin Muskin behind him. Anderson down there a little bit. Weston Peick in 9th right now with a minute flat. Tommy Hahn, Will's brother there behind those guys. There's Seeley up to 4th now. Tomac up to 4th and Seeley up to 5th now. And there's our buddy Pourcel.
Second.
Sneaks right up in there and lays down a 57.4. I don't know. I think that 57.2, I don't know. That's smoking fast for Trey Kennard. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to. We're seeing a yellow flag now in the whoops just before.
Well, now we have the time to be in the main then.
Yeah.
Right. Bopping getting in the main event at the season opener. Huge story there. Need to send a lot of love his way for that.
Yeah, just missing it last week in San Diego, but we'll see what happens tonight. The track, Mayra, it looks phenomenal. You got a chance. You were down there. And
walking the track yesterday, and then this morning. It looks fantastic. I think it's going to be a big show tonight to watch the guys out there on it.
We continue to have Lawson Bopping from Australia in our view here. He's sitting
13th now.
Not bad.
Yeah, no, that's a good time.
Looks like Eli's definitely feeling better out there too.
Yeah, but jumping to the top now.
Kenny Roczen.
56.1 for
first
Kenny
56
Roczen.
We've seen in the day.
Wow.
That was a lap.
Yeah, I didn't get my glasses, but that is a 56.1.
It is. It's a 56.1.
And Dungey now with a 56.7. So that's a half a second lap faster.
The guys are continuously bringing the time down.
Absolutely. A little under 5 minutes to go. It's Kenny Roczen, Ryan Dungey, Christophe Pourcel, Trey Canard. Trey Canard jumps up to third just as I finished saying that.
Yeah, he's going to look over that Monster Energy leaderboard and see, hey, I was up on the top. Now I'm third.
Jim and Mayra, look at the top 4, how close they are together.
It's unreal.
Tenths of a second.
Trey Canard just went in to talk to his mechanic there. You're seeing a lot of the guys. Dungey's down there talking to the MMI graduate, Carlos Rivera. Now he's going back out. Probably made a couple changes. He's saying, man, I was up there.
I thought I had a fast lap.
Yeah, he still has a fast lap. He's second.
Yeah.
He's all right.
56.7. Boy, that 56.1 is stout, though.
Wow.
0.6 faster than Dungey. Maybe this is the weekend Ken Roczen breaks out. He's had a
Third time's a charm, maybe, for him.
Exactly.
He does well here.
Michael
so,
Lessie there.
Hopefully he'll put it in.
And you remember what we talked about during the show, what he worked on this week?
Starts.
Lots of starts.
Oscar Vinneman, he told me that they did 400 of them at the test track, and it's paying off. We'll see if he gets rewarded in the heat race and the main events, if he can pull off a start. I told him, I said, if he gets a start, just tell him that, half of that $1,500 from Supercross Live is yours, because
goes to his pocket.
You were there doing the starting gate,
And we see Cole Seeley. He's got the bright pink gear going on. Looks
We
pretty
will
trick out
not
there.
miss him out there.
No, definitely bright.
And I have a feeling we'll see that bright pink at the front, too.
You see that section he just did, that step on, step off. He didn't downside it. A different line, if you get into traffic, you got to remember that you're not, all the time, you might not be able to do that section, so you got to back it down a little bit, land on the step on and step off of it.
Make the inside, maybe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm watching him doing a couple different lines out there than normal.
Time's running out.
There's Kenny.
4:58, qualifier number 2. Top 5, Roczen, Dungey, Canard, Pourcel, and Cole Seeley. Other than Pourcel, not a lot of surprises there. Where's Reedy at? We haven't seen him very,
Yeah,
he's sitting down in 11th.
Yeah, yeah, not good. I'm not sure. Maybe, sometimes Reedy, he doesn't turn it on until that main event. He's still testing and trying different things in the heat races. So Reedy obviously not happy with maybe some of his settings.
But I think he's going to come out swinging. He's got that record to motivate him.
Trey Canard.
Down.
Oh, Trey
no.
Canard. Come on, Trey.
Where's that at?
You all right, buddy? He's up. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
He's limping, though, a little bit. I don't know where he crashed there.
Like
That's after the finish line, that
line.
right-hander. I'm not sure what happened. Looks like he might have lost the front end or something. Oh, that's not good. He's struggling to get on that bike. He's a little beat up, but he'll be back. He's tough.
Definitely tough.
I'd hate to add a number 8 to our injured list, right?
Right.
Injured list.
We don't
Right.
want to do that.
Knocking on wood right now. Time is running out. About a minute and a half to go. Roczen, Dungey, Canard, who just went down, but he's back up.
Trying to see who that
Pourcel.
781 is there.
Yeah.
That's looks like Cade Clausen there.
It is. From Chesterfield, South Carolina. I bet he's glad he's not there right now.
Yeah, that's what I was just
Snow.
going to say. He's happy to be in Southern California.
Right. Man, what a beautiful day we've had today on Race Day Live. We were worried about the rain, but the sun's been out. The track's in excellent condition. People got to be starting to get pumped up for FS1 at 7 p.m. tonight.
Absolutely. You know what? The sun came out just in time, and I think it just brightened up the whole day and, leading us into the night. It's going to be a good one.
Right. There's Justin Brayton. Surprised everybody last weekend by jumping out there and leading the lap.
Hey, you know what? Vince Freezy. I'm waiting to see what he's going to pull tonight because,
He's been at the
2
front.
races in a row.
Yeah.
He's had a few interesting moments for us, so let's see what he's going to pull tonight.
I agree. He's going to be. There's Chad Reed in the camera.
Yep. Vince Freeze sitting down in 17th right now with a minute .1 out there. So, and that's another guy that just pulls. It looks like Chad's on a heater right now. Let's see if he can jump up. Yeah. Let's see. Reed sitting right now.
Excellent corner.
In that 12th with a 58.0. Let's see if he can better that time and jump up into that top 5.
I bet he goes up to 7th.
Close. 9th.
Yeah.
57.6. So he dropped a few tenths off of it.
That's it. Checkered flag is out, ladies and gentlemen.
Interesting. Reedy using a dark lens. You see that? It's not a clear lens.
20 minutes ago, there's a little bit of a glare, but right now the sun's crested over the stadium. A lot of people watching practice right now.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good turnout of spectators tonight.
Well, you know, when the field is so deep, you know, practice is going to be just as good as the night show.
Okay, well, here's the big thing. This is round 3. Are we going to see a third different winner? I think so.
I think so.
It's just who do we pick? I was kind of thinking Roxon, and then I was thinking maybe Trey Kennard, but after that little crash, I mean
well, hopefully he'll go back and regroup, and he'll be fine for the main.
Yeah,
we'll keep a lookout on his status.
How do you count out Dungey?
I mean, you can't.
Can't. Okay.
And Roxon's going to be down there to talk to Lurch. Be good to hear from him. He's probably pretty fired up, probably feeling pretty good.
I mean, how could you not be fired up about that?
Look at Pourcel, second now.
56.5.
Wow.
Maybe he gets a start tonight. Maybe Pourcel surprises us.
You went out in that first one, not the top spot, but get it done in number 2.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the track's really cool. There's some tough spots out there, so it's definitely going to be a good main event tonight, you know. I've been working on pretty much everything just to try to be on top of my game, and we know it's a long season, but for me it's time to go. I feel really good, and I'm excited for racing tonight.
You know, last week, obviously, some mishaps, but able to salvage some good points out of the weekend. Long championship. Anaheim's been good to you so far. Maybe you can make a good one more time tonight.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be great. You know, obviously last weekend that was on me. I just did a mistake, and the track was quite easy, so it was really, really hard to make up some time and make some good passes happen. So I worked a lot on starts. I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully getting a good start tonight, and then, you know, obviously 20 solid laps.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the 94. He's your number 1 qualifier in session number 2. It's Ken Roczen.
And there you heard it from Kenny Roczen, the fastest qualifier, man. A little bit of surprise there, or not so much?
No, I don't think so. I think that, you know, Kenny knows that, hey, I haven't been on the podium these first 2 rounds, and I think that he put in a little bit of work, and he's wanting to show the guys out here, I'm going to put my Suzuki up front.
Right. Mayra, Christophe Pourcel, second.
Wow. I mean, he definitely put in a really good ride. Not surprising. You know, we do know that he's got the speed. Now he just needs to get the start and, you know, a good finish in the main.
But the key is, does he have the stamina to go 20 laps?
That is the question.
Right.
That's the question right there.
Right. Well, this is our third RM Fantasy SX segment. So I'll kick it off. I think the super sophomores are going to stay tough. I'm going to have Jason Anderson.
Oh.
I'm going to have Cole Seeley.
Yep.
And for the win, Kenny Roczen. What you got?
That's impressive. I mean,
but I left Dungey out though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know.
Yeah, I think for myself, I think, you know, Kenny Roczen, I think it's going to be his time. I think Dungey's probably going to get that second position, and I think third, maybe Tomac.
Yeah.
Thinking maybe Tomac.
You know what? I'm going to go with Dungey. I'm going to go with Roczen, and I'm going to go with Anderson.
Solid. Super solid.
Hey, did you see what Mayra brought us up from Jim at Merchandise? That's why you got to come to these things live.
Right.
You got to get the new
one of these.
series T-shirt here.
Get a
pretty
series
cool.
T-shirt.
Yeah, our mugs that we had on. Jim, he hooked us up, and Mayra, thanks for bringing this up. This is cool.
I bring back good stuff from the pits, yeah.
Yeah. You forgot my hot dog, though.
Oh,
I saw that
next time.
Wiener Schnitzel. I was
Next
thinking
time.
you were going to bring me up a hot dog. And
I know. I got a little greedy. Next time, though.
All right.
Right. And we want to remember that today the hashtag is babies on bikes. So if you guys are at home and you got some cute pictures of your babies and your motorcycle, send them in to us at supercrosslive.com. And also, if you got a question, if you want to ask Mayra, Jim, or myself, it's hashtag AskRDL on Instagram and Twitter. Go ahead and use that. And I'm sure you guys have questions. We have answers. We'd love to get and interact with you guys. It's been fun to interact with you all day long here on Race Day Live. I want to thank all the viewers for tuning in, our international viewers for tuning in. We want to thank our guests. We want to thank Mike Kiedrowski. We want to thank Ronnie Stewart. We want to thank Stefan Rone. Who else did we have? We had all kinds of guests.
We had
How can you forget about Ray Butts?
Oh man, now I'm in trouble.
Come on, Ray Butts.
Don't tell him I forgot about it.
I won't.
I got to get an interview with him. How funny would that be, me reaching up with that guy?
Right.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, we'll do that. We hope you guys have enjoyed today's show. It's all coming up tonight on FS1 at 7 p.m. For Mayra Tinajero, Jim Holley, I'm Andy Bowyer. We'll see you next week in Oakland.